Live.
Well, evening, all. Doubters, welcome in. Believers, extra special welcome into you this evening as well. This is PM in the PM. This is Pong and Mav in the PM on a Thursday night. That's right. We are back after Thanksgiving off. Happy Indiana Jones review day. Just dropped about 20 minutes ago. And oh my, show am good. This is looking great. So we're going to get into that. Obviously, you saw by the thumbnail. Mav and I thought it'd be cool because they were dropping at 6 o'clock when we were supposed to start the show. But obviously, you know how Mav and I roll. But we are going to check out the reviews. And damn, even a little bit higher than what some people were telling me was a crazy prediction last week on Friday on Xbox Ultimate for this game. Nostalgia's real, folks. Machine Games is a legit developer. People seem to forget this shit sometimes. And so we're going to get into that. But man, oh man, I hope you all had a great week so far. Missed you all last Thursday, obviously, for Thanksgiving. I hope anybody who was celebrating Thanksgiving in the U.S. With me and Mav had a great week with family or whatever you guys did. I hope you had a great, nice, long weekend maybe like I did. I played some vids on top of eating some good-ass food. But great to see you all come back in here. So let's get to my co-host, the man who does own the Fun Speculation Network, at least 50% of it, or maybe 49.5, as Caitlin probably has 50.5 majority stake in this. But the one and only Fun Speculation, aka Mav. What is going on, brother? How the hell you been?
Pretty good, man. I've been lost in the zone some more. I've been playing some Stalker 2.
Nice.
That game has been rising up my game of the year list like every time I play. And right now obviously still have Indiana Jones and the Great Circle to play, which is looking like I'm gonna be, as an Indiana Jones fan, relishing in the greatness of. But yeah, if I was to pick today, right now, I would say Stalker 2 is my game of the year.
Damn.
I know. And that's on a strong year. There's been a lot of games that I've loved this year, but it is awesome. And every time I play, I like learn stuff that I was like, oh, I didn't know I could do that, or oh, really, I could do that, or it's such a fun game. I was streaming a little bit of it yesterday, and had some fun there. But yeah, man, it's something else that happened. Speaking of reviews, just off the cuff,
Yeah.
IGN's final review came in for Flight Sim. Finally.
Oh, it did. I did not notice that.
Yeah,
really?
it just happened a little while ago as well.
Okay.
They gave it a 9. Yeah, they said after a rocky launch, things got pieced together, and everything is like, it's amazing. They did it again.
Mav?
Yeah.
My thesis, right, has been that now that Xbox is no longer a threat, that we were going to start to see this change with some of the big, journalists, some of the big sites like IGN, right?
You're saying the tax is dying.
The tax is dying because they're no longer a threat. And I also said that about Indiana Jones because we knew it was coming to PlayStation, that they would get the fair shake. And people, I'm just saying, it's my thesis. Not everybody believes in the Xbox tax, but what do you think, Mav? Are we seeing a turn? Are we seeing the change in the winds, right? Because Xbox is now putting games elsewhere. What do you think?
Yeah, it is strange, and I had that discussion when they made that surprise announcement at the end of one of those Keighley shows when they were like, oh, and one more thing, Indiana Jones is going to PlayStation. And it was like, well, I wonder if that's going to have any impact on the outlook for reviews and stuff like that, right? I don't know. I saw somebody trying to make a comment saying it was only because it's coming to PlayStation that it's reviewing good now, because if it wasn't, it was be what it actually is in 81. So, but I'm like, what? So you're
actually is
right?
it
so you're confirming the Xbox tax is what I said, and they were
So,
like, yeah.
not only
let
do
me
we
show you all these. So what they're describing is a PlayStation boost, not an Xbox tax.
So only
I don't
one can
understand.
exist, but the other doesn't.
I backwards logic. This is the first time this
So you're acknowledging that PlayStation games get boosted.
if they're announced as exclusive or on PlayStation, they get boosted, but it's not attacked.
So their actual score
Right.
should be 5 points lower too. So
Is
we
what
should look
they're
at every
saying.
PlayStation exclusive and look at it as 5
Yeah.
points lower if it was
Yeah.
actually not exclusive and went everywhere. So the actual game score itself is
Right. Because according to this person, in order for it to be a hit, it would have to be like a 94. Which also discounts almost every PlayStation game
Jesus
as well.
fucking-
I don't
Bro,
understand. This is
the
real.
amount
This is
of
real comment.
goalposts and how
Yeah.
long they've been moved for, it's gone. Like
Yeah.
there's no sight of these goalposts
There's
anymore.
no,
Like they
no rhyme
just,
or reason.
yeah, no, none.
They're
none.
building fields and goals as things happen. There's no more moving goalposts. It's reconstruction at this point. I'm baffled by some of the takes already on it, but like overall, I'm super happy to see machine games, which I had faith in,
Yep.
right? Knowing how great they are at handling licensed IP and taking over franchises and staying true to them uh, based on the history of the studio and where a lot of them come from. And it seems like they delivered everything that we talked about that we saw in those trailers for Indiana Jones about staying true to the franchise and about capturing the feeling of it. Seems like from what I've seen, and we'll go over the reviews and
Yeah.
stuff in a little
Yeah.
while, but seems like that's kind of the theme throughout that I've noticed so far. So that's very promising for me. But yeah, I mean, other than that, dude, just been having fun playing Stalker, man. That's pretty much been my game. I've dabbled in some other things. Well, I want to get in some other stuff. I had tried last night, a little later in the show, with some cloud streaming stuff on some of the stuff Xbox is doing. But yeah, it was it's been pretty good. We got our Xbox years in review as well, so we can talk about that because I compare to last year, I can see things have changed a little bit, right? But overall, man, just having a blast with gaming, and as I always say, gaming is glorious, man. It absolutely is. But how you been, Pong?
I've been good, brother. It's been a decent week so far. Played a lot of the extra stalker last weekend, and got some more time in with it. And like you, it just gets better the further I get into it. Playing it after the patch again, I didn't have any problems really, so I haven't seen a huge difference between the two. But obviously, with the economy being fixed, obviously that's going to help me in the long run. But really enjoying the hell. Would it be my game of the year right now? No, I think Dragon's Dogma 2 is still there, right? And I think that Space Marine 2 is a solid second place. 1A and 1B between Dragon's Dogma 2 and Space Marine 2 still. But do I think that Stalker definitely is going to be up in my top 3, top 5? Yeah, for sure. I think this game is shooting up the ladder. Now, Indie coming out today, I just noticed that I did not buy the early edition, and I have to decide whether or not I'm going to do, because I just double dipped on Path of Exile 2. I got to decide whether or not I'm going to play this or if I'm going to hold off, but we'll talk about that here in a second. But but Stalker is absolutely freaking incredible. Again, what they did nailing the atmosphere, I just can't say enough of GSC Game World, going through all that they did to put this game out, even despite the fair criticism that is out there about it. But really, the game itself is massive, and I see Nate Dogg agreeing with you in the chat as well, Mav, that Stalker 2 should be game of the year, or his personal game of the year.
Yeah.
It is really a special game, and I hope more people continue to try it. I hope the word of mouth of those of us that have been playing it now and have seen what makes this game so great do jump into it if they have any interest in it. Again, it's not going to be a game for everybody. It is hard. It is difficult. It is a survival first-person shooter. But man, oh man, if you're any type of interested, you got to play Stalker 2. It is so worth it. My week, Mav, has just been an Age of Mythology addiction.
Nice.
Yeah, I'm locked in, bro. I'm locked into Age of Mythology again. I'm running through this Arena of the Gods. Completed the full completed the final final node, I should say. But then now you can go back through and you can play all the other nodes you didn't get and get those bonuses. So I've been playing 1 or 2 other nodes a night, and I've had some really massive battles. Like there's times where you're facing off against 2v1 and they aren't playing around in this mode at all. There's been certain times I've run really fast. Like I've beat whatever I'm facing in the 20 minutes, 30 minutes. But man, I've had a couple battles, Mav, where I tried to knock them out and I missed the knockout punch, right? And then it becomes a war of attrition at that point. And it's been like, holy shit, back and forth, defending my base after wave, trying to build up a big enough army to go counter, trying to get my Titan Gate up and getting enough workers on it to get it out in time to give me the advantage back to go razz their freaking side. I had a couple matches this week that literally against the AI have been an hour and a half, 2 hour long matches. Like it's been nuts, man. But it's been a blast the whole time. It hasn't been a slog. There's been times where I go, do I just restart this? And I'm like, nah, we're going to try to see if I can't win this out. And sure enough, I pulled off a couple of matches where I thought I was dead in the water. I didn't think I had a chance to come back, and I wind up coming back. So yeah, man, just the patches and what they've done have certainly fixed things. There's still little issues in Age of Mythology that I did not see in Age 4 or Age 2. Definitive Edition, but besides those little issues, they fixed a lot of different things that I saw early on that were kind of like annoying to me. So Age of Mythology is high up on my list this year too. Like it is so damn good now that I'm back into it again. But let's be real. All of this is just waiting for Path of Exile 2. So we're going to see how the servers are tomorrow. I'm planning on being home early. I worked a ton early this week so that I could get off early tomorrow. So we'll see what the servers are like. If the servers are bad for Path of Exile 2, I will see if I can budget in and buy Indiana Jones and get early access and just play that until Path of Exile 2 kind of smooths out. But you guys all know me. I am the ARPG looter lover. I'm an addict, right? I just finished out. We're going to talk about our year-end results here, me and Mav, on our Xbox side of things, but finished out Diablo 4, like I said last week, over 500 hours into Diablo 4 since it launched. I love looters. I love action RPGs, and Path of Exile 2 is speaking to me on other levels. I've been watching in the background. I've been having videos playing of some of the bigger streamers out there, some of the big Path of Exile guys running through all the information we have on Path of Exile 2. So tomorrow could be freaking fun as hell with the early access. But again, they said they're ready for 1 million people to join, and they can ramp that up. It is now #1 selling game on Steam. It is actually #1 selling item on Steam, as it did pass the Steam Deck this week, today, in fact. So that is a rare feat for a game. So I cannot wait to see what GGG has done with Path of Exile 2 and get my time in with that. And like I said, I double dip, so I'll have PC and console. It is cross save and cross progression. So I will, that's why I did the double dip. So can't wait. Sith Lord with the $2. What's going on, Sith? He says, I'm excited to play Indie tomorrow. Hope you are too. Oh, brother, you know I've been waiting on it. Like I said, I haven't purchased early access, so I don't know if I'm going to get to it tomorrow, but we shall see. Mav will definitely be playing, but it sounds like it's living up to the hype, Mav, and we're going to get to that there in just a minute. So yeah, been a good week. Hope you're all enjoying some of this freaking fantastic gaming out there, as me and Mav have been for sure. So Mav, before we get into it, let's shout out the chat real quick.
Yeah, we also got this gifted from God Emperor Sofa King.
Oh, I see that. The single bomb. That's right. We don't discriminate. So attention, ladies and gentlemen. The one and only God Emperor Sofa King bought himself a single ticket to the fun speculation hype train. Welcome aboard, the speculators. That's right, God Emperor Sofa King. We're going to try to get you some people in the back of the train with you on that new car, but welcome aboard. And thank you for that single bomb, keeping us ad-free. Hashtag no beans coming into 2025. That's right. Choo-choo, motherfuckers. Choo-choo. And I can't wait to see everybody recording that scene and posting it online. You know I'm going to.
Speaking of, though, in honor of Indiana Jones.
Yeah. Choo-choo. Ha, 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 ha. So incredible, bro. I can't wait. They listen to us. I swear Machine Games listen to us and put that in.
Oh, 100%.
Anyways, let's get to the chat real quick and shout out the amazing people joining us tonight. Again, thank you all for being here on another episode of PM the PM. After we did have the week off due to the holiday, we got the one and only Fuzzy. No, not Fuzzy Belvedere. Fuzzy Tomato is in the house. What's going on, Fuzzy? Thank you for being here. Great to see your name. We got the one and only Knob Omar in the house. What's going on, Knob? We got the God Emperor Sofa King again in the house. Thank you so much, God, for being here. We got the Ghost Fixter. He says, I got indie installing right now, and I'm going to be playing it in a bit. What's going on, Ghost Fixter? Get it. Poison Maniac. What's going on, brother? Great to see you. We got the one and only Dread Pool in the house. What's going on, Dread? We got the Alvin, of course, being here. Thank you, Alvin. Appreciate you so much. We got the Sith Lord again in the house. Thank you, Sith, for being here, and thank you for always tweeting out about all the shows going on, including this one. Appreciate you so much, Sith, for all the support, brother. We got the Nathan Hardman. What is going on, Nathan? He says, Black Ops 6 is my game of the year. It should be in the conversation. It should be in the conversation. Again, I know it's just Black Ops, like just, just like Forza is just a racing game, right? And they dismiss him, those types of games all the damn time. Black Ops 6 should be in the conversation for game of the year. Absolutely 1000%.
It should.
Yes, it should. It's that good. It is that good. Who else we got in here? We got Shane G. What's going on? He says it comes with the first expansion, so early access is basically just extra. Exactly, Shane. I love. People always say, well, you're just paying for early access. I'm like 99% of the games that do that come with an expansion or a battle pass or something. Like, people who think that you're buying extra time with the game, it's one of the dumbest arguments I've seen since that started. I love the option to buy into that upgrade path. So again, for $30, it is what it is. But yeah, I agree with you wholeheartedly, Shane. Thanks for being here, brother. Zach Riley, what's going on, Zach? Always great to see you jumping in here. We got the Snooky Jackson. What's going on? He says, I wish these trolls keep Sarah Bond out their mouth. She is not the CEO of Xbox. Phil Spencer is. He runs Xbox. Hey, Snooky, we might talk about that information that came out today, too. We can't see the full article because it's locked behind a paywall, but we may talk about kind of the information that came out about her position. I think it's a little goofy, some of the conversation around it, and I know Mav agrees, so we're going to talk about that maybe if we get to it here as we go through the evening. We got DJD925. He comes in here and says, yo, what's good, everyone? Yo, what's good with you, DJD? Appreciate you. We got the Spidey Ring in here. Says, what's up? What's up to you, Spidey Ring? Thanks for being here, man. Appreciate you joining the show. We got Wacko Games in the house. What's going on, Wacko? Glad to see you joining us. Decado, the one and only Decado's in here. Evidently, they put up Rivals tonight. Are you serious? They launched it early? Yo, Decado, confirm for me, brother. Rivals is looking good too. We got some new information on that today.
It's like player count is through the roof right now. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
I saw somebody make a post about it just a little while ago.
I'm not a hero shooter guy, but I try them. We had fun with Overwatch, but Rivals?
I think it was J-Rock that was like, it's already beat Concord or something.
Jesus, of course he did.
Yeah.
Of course he did. Jay Mo Buddy, I see you in here. What's going on, Jay? Great to see you in here as well. We got Calorie, what's going on? He says, when does Indiana Jones come out? I don't have the times up right now, Mav. If you got the times, let me know. But it is, I don't know. Can you go to New Zealand on that one, or is it a worldwide?
I'm not sure. I need to look.
Yeah, you should look. I didn't look because, again, I didn't have the early access as of right now, so I didn't even check it out to see if that was the case. Gunner X7, what's going on? It says, are the reviews good? We're about to talk to it. I'm assuming, Gunner, from our conversation, you already know that they are, but we're going to talk about just how good they are in here in just a minute. We got the one and only Jason Max in the house. What's going on, Jason? Thank you. Can we still get early access? Yes, you can, Jason. You can go ahead and pick up the upgrade pass still. They keep those up through even the entire early access period. If somebody wants to pop $30 for 24 hours early access, they'll take your money. Don't worry about that. Thatch, what's going on? Great to see you, Thatch. Thanks for joining us tonight. We got Free Bear in the house. What's going on, Free Bear? Always great to see your name popping up here. It says, hi, Mav. Enjoyed your gameplay today. So you must.
Yeah,
what were you
playing
soccer today?
Soccer, yes. I was playing yesterday. So he
yesterday.
probably caught that stream from
Awesome.
yesterday. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
that's awesome, Free Bear. Glad you enjoyed his streams. Yeah, Mav does a great job doing streaming. He should do more of it elsewhere as well. He could build a hell of a fan base because his streams are damn enjoyable to watch. Not everybody's
All
playing
Pog,
talking.
thanks.
Hey, listen, not everybody's good at playing games and talking, but you are very good at keeping engaged. We got the one and only Masshole 1977, of course, dropping in here with the sup nerds. My favorite adjective for all of us. I love nerds, man. Let's go, Masshole. Thank you for joining us. We got the one and only Depka, of course, jumping in here. He says, yay, Marvel Rivals is live. Yo, I guess that's true. Man, oh man. Games and more games and more games and more games. God dang it, man.
Yeah. I saw so J-Rock did make that post. At 16 minutes ago, it was already at 76,000.
Jesus. Rivals is we got a salty comment from the one and only Mike Ybarra too, of course, off the heels of Rod Ferguson's salty comment about can we just call everything Diablo like? Could we start that?
Yeah.
After the fantastic showing from PoE 2, then Mike Ybarra, who's been salty about Microsoft, Xbox, and gaming in general, and all sorts of shit. He's always good for a couple quotes, but he got up all his feels about Marvel Rivals and about China copying quote unquote games like Overwatch.
But I like, yeah, it's been obvious since the get go.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, the style is a lot like it. It's a hero shooter, a lot like,
Right.
but like the wording he chose in his tweet just didn't make any damn sense whatsoever.
We'll talk about it. We'll
Yeah.
read it. We'll read it and talk about it because I thought it was funny as hell. But I'm looking forward to it. Again, I'm not a hero shooter. I'm not saying Rivals is going to become my thing, but I definitely am going to download it. It's free to play. It looks dope as fuck. The superheroes look cool as hell. And again, Steel playing the early access stuff, the beta stuff, and telling me that it was really good. I watched some of his streaming and he was having a good time. And when Steel's having a good time at one of these, that says something. Like, so I'm kind of excited to jump into this, and this thing is looking really good. Like, the characters they're bringing in, I want to see some more X-Men, but man, they got my girl Storm already in there. So yeah, I'm going to check it out. One-Eyed Will's in here. What's going on? One-Eyed Will says, I'm going to try Path of Exile tomorrow in the UK. The first one was fire. Yeah, look out, One-Eyed Will. Everything the first one was, and I'm talking about the vast majority of PoE streamers and people who play ARPGs, whether it's Diablo or PoE all the time, the vast majority of people are talking about how great the upgrade is. That Path of Exile, they just took everything they learned from Path of Exile 1 and seemingly have taken it to the next level with Path of Exile 2, plus made it more accessible, which again, some of us cringe at that sometimes because that can mean bad things. But from what everybody's seeing and all the experienced eyes looking at this, they did it in all the right ways. It's not going to take away the complexity. It's just going to take away some of the layers of unnecessary complexity that were there because they built PoE 1 over a matter of 10 years. And it's just patches on top of patches. And basically they cleared all that off and just made things more user-friendly. So can't wait to jump into it myself. Be nice. I see you in here. What's going on? Be nice. Great to see you dropping by. We got the Moggs E in here as well. What's going on, Moggs E? Thank you so much for being a part of the show. We got the beautiful Miss Caitlin, who did a fantastic job, as always. Like, I'm going to continue to say it because she deserves the credit, but my God, the thumbnails just continue to be freaking beautiful. So thank you, Miss Caitlin. Appreciate you so much for doing that. And by the way, Caitlin, too, on your year-end Xbox, over 200 hours of Starfield. Congratulations. That is mighty impressive. It blows my mind still how much you love Starfield.
Yeah, it was her top game this year, even more than House Flipper.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful thing, though. Like, it's a beautiful thing. I know next year GTA 6 might consume your life if it shows up, but for right now, the fact that you love Starfield that much, simply beautiful. Love it. Let's see here. And Depka says Rivals feels good. Not going to lie. Yeah, that's what everybody was saying. Yeah, Marvel's Overwatch. Yeah, how can you go wrong? All right. So, Mav, let's talk about Indiana Jones. We'll just start with the lead because it is just reviews, but let's just break the ice here because this, again, they just dropped about 45 minutes ago at this point. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle from Machine Games, obviously formally announced for PlayStation next spring, which just happened at, where did that happen at? Was it the summer? Yeah, it was the Keeleys, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was Keeley's because he was super excited to do it. I remember that. He had the big old cheese smile on his face. But
Yep.
we've been waiting on this, especially old Indiana Jones fans have been waiting on this. Steele and I have had some conversations. Steele is younger than me and Mav, and Steele thinks that Indy still isn't a big IP and that it doesn't have a whole lot of power. It just has some BS nostalgia for us old people. Now he didn't say old people because Steele doesn't talk that way, but that's what he hints at. Yeah, he just thinks that Indy is way past his prime. Obviously, the last two movies have done shit and actually kind of hurt the reputation of Indiana Jones. But my argument has always been that Indiana Jones is timeless. Indiana Jones as an IP and as a character is timeless. Indiana Jones can always be made good if you do it the right way, Mav. And we had long conversations about this in the lead up to seeing Indiana Jones and the Great Circle for the first time about how Machine Games was going to tackle that part of it. Because there is something very specific about Indiana Jones that if you screw up, and again, the original people screwed up the past two movies, let's be real, okay? Right? So if you don't get the right writers, if you don't get the right feeling from an indie, whatever, doesn't matter what it is, book, movie, TV show, game, you are going to realize it real quick from the audience. The audience is going to turn away and talk shit about whatever you put out because that's how recognizable Indiana Jones and the world that surrounds Indiana Jones is, right? And we talked about what is Machine Games going to do. Originally, it was third person, first person. Obviously, we had back and forth guesses. A lot of us wanted the mix, and the ability to switch out potentially. Obviously, they came up with a hybrid system where if you're climbing or swinging on your whip, we found out that was going to be third person, but the rest was going to be in first person. Then it was, who are they going to get to act? Are they going to have Harrison do it? We didn't know who was going to do that. Then we got the announcement that it was Troy Baker, and we saw the amazing full cutscene kind of action sequence during Xbox Showcase, and we all agreed Troy Baker nailed it. And I was not happy that Troy Baker was doing it. I was like, oh, I'm just not a Troy Baker fan. I don't deny his talent, but I didn't think he could pull off Harrison Ford. He pulled off Harrison Ford. Okay. So this has been building. The momentum has been building, and everything that we saw, Mav, most of us that have been waiting on this game, our hype just continued to get increased. So we've been waiting on, we got some previews. Everybody was talking pretty highly of it out of the previews, but we know how previews go, right? Got to temper a little bit because people get excited. They're flowing out. They get really excited. Hey, got special treatment. We're out here. We're having a great time with the devs and everybody's grooving. And it's like, wow, okay, yeah. Sometimes it gets a little bit better than what it actually is, right? When it drops. So we got the previews looking really good, sounding really good. Okay. Waiting on these reviews. And sure enough, Mav, the reviews are now released. And right now, as we speak, 56 now critic reviews. And I'm using Open Critic here, folks, because I like how they combine all of the different reviews together, PC, Xbox, etc. 56 critical reviews, and it's still at an 87 right now, Mav. An 87 with a 91% critics recommend. Just out the gate, Mav. And I'm not going to do any spoilers. I'm not going to deep read any of the reviews, okay? I promise you guys I won't do that because I don't want to get any spoiler territory just by accident, none of it. But I'm going to read some of the synopsis of the reviews. We'll get into that here in a second. But Mav, we talked about this on last Friday, Xbox Ultimate. We had some guessing going on. I said I felt it was at an 86, that they could score there. Again, we had non-believers in the chat telling me that I was crazy, way too high. No way it's going to score that much. Not going to do that. I had this feeling that 86 felt about right. Pretty damn close. I can't remember what yours, Matt. You were mid 80s as well, weren't you?
Yeah, I think I said around 85, 86.
Yeah.
87,
I think you were
there.
I think you were right around there too. So Mav, just hearing these numbers, 87% top critic average, 91 critics recommend, 91% critics recommend. I'll pull up Metacritic too, just to have that too. But what's your initial thoughts on this number for Machine Games, for Xbox, bro? For Indiana Jones as an IP, again, that has not had great reception off the last two movies. Harrison Ford is in the twilight of his life and career. Let's be real. Again, God bless the man. He's given me some of my favorite characters of all time, right? Again, across Tom Clancy, across Star Wars, across Indiana Jones, like some of my favorite characters of all time is him. So God bless him. But man, it hasn't been great for Indy lately. But then this, man, this seems like they nailed it, brother. Holy shit.
Yeah, I mean, I was curious on what it would fall at. We've heard some kind of positive vibes from people that were having the ability to play it. But we also heard some people that were like, "Well, it's not like third person. It's not this. It's not
Mhm.
that." So I was curious how it was going to resonate with people maybe that aren't Indiana Jones fans or into those kind of games that are kind of give you more of the freedom and stuff that they're doing. A game that kind of stays true to the spirit of the IP instead of just hey cookie cutter action adventure. This is like every other single other one of those kind of games that came out, but it's going to be high production and we're going to take you through that because it seems like that's what a lot of people had wanted at first, right? Except Indiana Jones.
Right. Right.
So it was like, is it going to resonate with the people that want that kind of stuff or but it seems like overall it's delivered in a way to where I've seen multiple people say now that they are surprised how much they love this game. So even people that did review it that weren't as hype or looking forward to it were surprised and impressed by what they played and had a blast playing it, which is a very awesome thing. Like I think that it's going to have some that are probably not going to like it as much or whatever, but overall, it's kinda hit where I thought, but more a little bit even on the more positive end of the spectrum because many times where I've been expecting, that, okay, this game's gonna be obviously good quality, it's gonna be fun to play, it's gonna be a great game. I could make a prediction it's gonna be in the high 80s or something like that because I just know it's not gonna be for everybody, right? But often sometimes those games end up in the 70s or something, and I'm like, "What the fuck is happening?" Or, like, in the low 80s, I'm like, "What's going on?" And people complain about the most random nonsense that's, like, people never complained about before in gaming history, and all of a sudden, it's this big, huge issue and stuff, and overall, that seems not happening with this. So I don't know for whatever the reason is. It seems like people are just really liking what they're playing and
Yeah.
relishing in it, man. Like, and again, like I think paying homage and staying true to the IP and really sticking with it. And if we go back to a lot of the dialogue that when they've been talking about the game and when we've seen the interviews and the trailers that we've seen and everything is how indie is felt, right? Is
Yep.
the thing that's made me the most excited for it. And that's what I'm seeing again as a theme throughout the reviews is like if you're an Indiana Jones fan, you're gonna love this,
Mm,
right? But I think beyond that, I think if you're not an Indiana Jones fan, you still might love it.
correct.
You might become an Indiana Jones fan because this might be the best Indiana Jones thing we've had
In
since the
decades.
original trilogy,
Decades. Yes.
right?
Since I was a
Which
kid.
yeah, I mean,
Jesus.
we've seen IPs and franchises return to glory that had been dead in the past, or we've seen things disappear for a long time or like not hit, and then all of a sudden something comes out that's great and delivers and makes people excited for things again, right? There's been numerous examples of those kind of things, but this seems like this is Machine Games doing what they do best, doing the style of game they do best, doing first person, but doing it in a way that's original as well. Because and one thing I can say probably that there's not going to be anything like Indiana Jones that we're going to be playing for a while or have played in a long time. Because usually first person games are more just typical shooters, right? Or you might have some that are like kind of put a twist on something, like you have your runners out there, like a Ghost Runner type game, you got like a Mirror's Edge or something like that, or whatever. But most first person games are shooters, right?
Right.
So you have this game that's like, well, yeah, there's guns in it, but it's more about immersiveness and
Correct.
putting you in that um
Roll.
in the world of being a
Right.
specific character, right?
Yep.
Obviously horror games do first person a lot as well. That's another genre that does first person pretty good. There's great first person and third person horror games. But yeah, this one is, I think, going to be a very kind of original experience.
Yes. That, I think that's yeah, that I think that's exactly what it is because they didn't go the route of Uncharted because they didn't just
Yeah.
make a indie skin Tomb Raider. And
Yeah, they
again,
didn't turn Indiana Jones into a mass murderer. You
right,
know what
right,
I
right,
mean? Like,
right, exactly. It was important to them to keep the character, like you said, that's the role you're playing. You're not playing somebody dressed as Indiana
yeah,
Jones, right? But he's doing things that we've never seen Indy do before, way outside of his character. No, you are playing Indiana Jones in one of his many adventures that just has never been told before. But it's the same guy. Like it is that guy that you've seen on film so many times, or maybe even played the old games, because even the old games pretty much stayed true to Indy, right?
yeah,
Again, they couldn't do what the storytelling that can be done nowadays. It's not the same level as some of the previous games, but they all stayed true to who Indy was. And that was important. As one of the things we talked about with Machine Games. And just a quick, I pulled Metacritic here too, Mav. 70 total reviews. And Mav, this will be
already
in,
up to 70 now because it's
yeah,
been
yeah.
really going up and up and
Between,
up and up and up.
and this is between PC and Xbox, right? So
Yeah,
70 total. But Mav, this should also shock you. More reviews on Xbox than on PC, 37 to 33.
it's already
That's
up to 30.
also
So,
rare. Yes.
wow, that
Um,
is extremely rare.
Solid 87 on both, bro. This is a high 80s game across the
Yeah,
like there's no questions, there's no ifs or buts or anything like that. There's no goalpost moving on this one. Machine Games got the assignment from Todd, understood the assignment, and went out and kicked ass, as Machine Games has been known to do. I'm actually really excited for Machine Games because obviously
yeah,
they've gotten a lot of flowers with Wolfenstein, right? Now, however, the last Wolfenstein didn't do great, right? Because they were kind of forced into it from what we heard, right? It didn't do great, but Machine Games has always been id's little brother in the room, right? Machine
hmm,
Games has always been id's little. It's been like, yeah, they do great work with Wolfenstein. For them to go, and yes, is there some translation between Wolfenstein and Indiana Jones? Of course there is, right? When it was announced, everybody was like, oh, well, of course, Nazis. Well, of
yeah,
course we're
yeah,
going to do that, right? It's going to work out. But for them to go and take a licensed IP, to take on something like you were just talking about, Mav, that is such a well-established, well-known, recognizable IP, and absolutely produce what, from what everybody's saying here, is one of the greatest pieces of indie IP that we have seen in decades, is nothing short of special. That
yeah,
tells you what kind of talent this team has. And to pull it off in first person when there was a lot of detractors when it was first announced,
hmm,
especially in the media, Matt. In the media, there was a lot of detractors,
yeah,
right? Oh God, oh, first person. Oh God, this should be third person. What are we doing? Like it all started right away. Oh God, Tomb Raider's third person. Oh, Uncharted's third person. What are we doing, Machine Games? Like, how are you going to do this? We want to see indie. For them to go from that point initial to now day before launch with reviews coming out to turn people's opinions to this, shout out to Machine Games, man, for pulling
yeah.
this off. So um
I saw this comment in the
yeah,
chat as
yeah,
well that says some people even talk about Game of the Year material too. Like, so I've seen a few comments from people that have reviewed it
yeah,
already as
yeah.
well in the
Favorite.
on Twitter,
Mm-hmm.
saying that it was a surprise to them, but it this is that now their Game of the Year,
Right.
but they were surprised by it. So they weren't like anticipating like this was going to be like, the star for the of the year for them and all this stuff, but like they like it that much that it surpassed everything else for 2024.
Yeah.
This is also another problem with the Game Awards too, because I think this
Correct.
was a game that may have actually had a chance to be one of the nominees for
Had this
the
been launched
yeah.
earlier, if this is launched a month earlier,
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
it's got a great shot to be nominated, right? If it's launched in October, this is I, it's sad, but it's true, right? So
Yep.
it really is, and it's gonna be
It'll be
forgotten.
forgotten next year. It ain't gonna get credit
It's
for
gonna
it.
be forgotten. I mean, it might if it's this good. Like I could see some of like the if some of the maybe Troy Baker, right? will get nominated
Yeah.
for actor, right? That's possible. Like I could see that happening, but the game
Yeah.
overall, yeah, no,
In a way, the fact that it's
probably not.
coming to PlayStation next year might
Yes,
help its chance to
true,
stay relevant for
true.
2025's nominations.
True, but 2025 is so freaking loaded too.
It is.
But true, Mav. That is true. I forget about that. So that might help it. You're right. You're right.
Yeah, because technically,
Cross my fingers.
games that were after November, whatever, are supposed to be
Yeah.
eligible for next year. But that,
Right.
I mean, you never see it. You never see it
No.
happen.
No, you
But
don't.
yeah,
You
next
don't.
year, man, like it really, if you think about it, like how loaded it is,
Yes.
next year could be the year you actually see multiple nominees from Microsoft Xbox actually as nominated for Game of the Year at the,
Microsoft has got a lot of good games next year.
because you could see Indiana Jones pop up there. You could see like Fable, Doom, The Dark Ages, South and Midnight could come out there and do
And there's
amazing
supposedly
things.
more too. Like
Yeah,
who knows?
Avowed like could end up
Yeah.
hitting really big time too. Like it's next year is looking solid, but I want to get back to
Yeah.
one other thing specifically
Yeah.
is just machine games,
Yes.
right?
Yes. Machine
So
game.
like turning back the clock, ZeniMax Bethesda acquisition.
Correct.
You know, we're all talking about this. Oh, you know, they got Bethesda Game Studios, they got Bethesda. You know, they got and Arcane was another big one that people were talking about with it because they had some more stuff that was coming sooner than later. And a lot of speculation was about, hey, the next thing we're going to see from Machine Games will be the next Wolfenstein.
Mhm.
But you know, we haven't seen that,
Nope.
and you know, the Todd Howard announcement of that, the fact that they were working on Indiana Jones, people still thought that we would see another Wolfenstein.
Mhm. Yeah, some of us were guessing that Wolfenstein
Yeah.
had already been in production for a while,
Mhm.
right? And that they would come out first. So,
But you're seeing
Mhm.
numerous things like from ZeniMax Bethesda acquisition alone. Yeah, I think now ABK is going. We're gonna have to in the long road judge that.
Yeah.
Like for what it is, long road, but obviously Call of Duty Black Ops 6 is amazing. But like, what a just overall for the package, what a amazing move from Microsoft and Xbox to get. I mean, so far they had Starfield. You know, you have, but it's more than that. Fallout. Look at what happened with Fallout last year,
Mhm.
right?
Correct.
Or this year. You had this a massive resurgence with the IP. Fallout 76 is hitting and still super popular. I saw that as a lot of people's number one game this year on the Xbox year in review.
Mhm.
Elder Scrolls Online still crazy
Continues.
popular. You know, it's unfortunate what happened with Arcane Austin and Redfall.
That's the
you
one
know,
wish, right?
Yeah.
If Arcane Austin, we'll go back and revisit, but man,
yeah,
if they
and
didn't close-
Tango GameWorks
and
too.
Tango.
Yeah, those are like the asterisk there. It's like, oh god, it's hard to like say this without mentioning the downside of it, like losing those. But again, still Tango GameWorks put out one of the best games of the generation to many so far on Xbox, and Hi-Fi Rush as well, right? So you have those things that have happened so far, but a studio that kind of just was people like, oh yeah, they got machine games, you know,
Yep. Because
and
it's just a cute little brother to id.
right,
they've been.
but here it is, you know,
Yes.
here
Right.
it is, and then next year you have Doom: The Dark Ages, you
Yep.
know.
Which is
And then
bro.
maybe now we also have Blade
Yep.
coming as well. This is another Arcane game. So overall, just that whole ZeniMax Bethesda acquisition, a huge, like, massive win there for Xbox and the IPs and the games that they're going to be able to deliver. Just wait till they officially reveal Elder Scrolls 6. And now we already have got the, hey, we're making it kind of reveal, but whatever game it actually is, right?
See where they go. Yep.
So yeah, like just overall machine games, props to them. It's it's one of the studios that they had acquired that hasn't been talked about a whole lot. Besides people talking about Indiana Jones, and now we finally see the result of the quality that they're putting out under Xbox.
Oh shit! PTK. PTK's got to ruin the moment. He's got to ruin the moment. Unbelievable. He just sent me. He just sent in the shop podcast DMs. He said
Right.
Greg Miller's review. I can't stand kind of funny. I can't stand Greg Miller anymore.
He's been a proponent of Starfield, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's fine. I don't care. I just don't like the dude. I don't like the dude. Again, it's just 6.5 out of 10. Get the fuck out of here, bro. Anyways, just an opinion, just opinion. Anyways, and I wanted to say this too, Mav, real quick, and then we'll kind of deep dive some of the reviews and kind of check out some things that people are saying. It's also important, I think, Mav,
Mhm.
a little bit lesser on the side of things, but I still think it's important that Phil sees wins from licensed IP.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Because this is one thing that he's been very resistant to, and we all know this. He's publicly said it multiple times. He does not like licensed IP that they don't control.
Yep.
And they need these wins, like, because this
Yeah.
shows Phil that if it's done right, you can have your Spider-Mans, you can have your big games come out of this. Now, I'm not saying Indiana Jones is going to sell 20, 30 million copies like Spider-Man, but my God, this is going to sell. It is going to be played just from these scores because that's how people do it nowadays. Again, it doesn't matter to me if this came out as a 6 out of 10, I still would have played the hell out of this game because it's Indiana Jones. But people will be more interested in playing this game. This is a big win. And if they can piggyback off of this and have Blade come out whenever that comes out in the next few years as also something big, and there's rumors they have a couple other licensed projects, Transformers, in the
Yep.
works as well, this could be a new era for Xbox, Mav, that Phil really tried to stay away from a long time. I love to see that part of it too.
Yeah, and we know that he hasn't been a huge fan of it, but we've seen
Yeah,
them do some different things, like, even, like, with
right.
Sea of Thieves, doing some, like, like,
Correct. Yeah.
Pirates of the Caribbean
Partnerships. Yeah. Yeah.
stuff, and, yeah, they've done some different things now,
Mhm.
and we have the ones that have come along for the ride with us in MX Bethesda acquisition, obviously Blade,
Yeah.
and, this game, Indiana Jones. So there's talk that there's another one out there,
Yep.
that we don't know about. Who knows potentially what it could be if there is another one. Um, but it would probably be from one of those ZeniMax Bethesda studios, possibly ZeniMax Online or something like that. But yeah, overall, if this does well for them,
Yeah.
could be a learning experience to say, hey, well, actually, that was really good for us. It was really good for the brand. It was really good to bring people to the ecosystem, and they could keep doing
Yes. I think it could open up more opportunities for it
that. Mhm.
as well. Shout out to Psychonauts, brother. Psychonauts, jump in here. I see you, brother. Shout out to the one and only Fonz Gaming, of course. Great to see you, brother, jumping in here as well. He says, well, PS fans will be loving indie. Yep, of course they will. Of course they will. It'll be all good. Danny Passion Official, $2. What's going on, Danny Passion? Appreciate you jumping in here. Says, why making that trash? Wolfenstein 3, please. Why you say trash about Indiana Jones? How dare you, Danny Passion Official? How dare you,
Dun,
sir?
da, 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 dun, da, da.
We needed an indie game.
Dun, da,
I
da, da,
love
dun, da,
this. I
da,
love
da,
this. This is
da.
gonna be so damn dope. I can't wait. Oh, Shane G says first 30 minutes are great. Shane. Oh, so it is possible potentially to travel to New Zealand right now and play this. Is this anybody else can confirm we can launch? We can do this. Yeah, I can't. I really can't wait to jump into this. And again, I was hyped from the beginning, been excited no matter what happens. Just seeing this reaction from, you know, critical reaction, right, is a breath of fresh air. Number one, for machine games and for Xbox in general, but for the indie IP, like I said, as an old indie fan, that's the biggest thing to me because the movies have been shit. Because the movies have
Yeah,
not given me any reason to want to go see them. As a huge Indiana Jones fan, like to see this happen, that Machine Games made what essentially, again, they've got 4 hours of cutscenes supposedly, a Indiana Jones movie, interactive movie game that I get to play. Fuck, let's go. Let's freaking go. I want to start here real quick with some of the. I saw you were talking about some people on Twitter giving some impressions. I found this. I was scrolling through and I found this Danny Dwyer guy, Danny O'Dwyer. He's got over 100,000 followers. He does a bunch of podcasts. He does documentaries. He's a director of documentaries. He actually created a game called Stunt Derby, which is on Steam right now.
mhm.
He does an F1 podcast. Anyways, he says Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is my favorite game of 2024, and I'm absolutely shocked by this. The Forgotten City with machine game storytelling, sometimes Dishonored, often Hitman, but really a whole new blend of first-person experience. Bro, like this is what I was hearing, Mav, when they were saying like, hey, it's an immersive sim. This is not Uncharted. This is not Tomb Raider. This is more immersive sim. Like that's what I was hoping to hear.
Mhm.
He goes on to say, I think that Machine Games has done something remarkable with this game. The story is terrific. The puzzles and fisticuffs are fun. The supernatural elements are well earned. Troy Baker does an incredible indie. And he goes, just fucking great. It's game of the year. And he goes, I was expecting a linear first person shooter, not this puzzle/action game with open world hubs to explore and loads of random shit to collect, costumes to wear, and side quests to get lost in. I never played anything like it. The camera and color work also feels like pure Indiana Jones. Yo, this guy is telling me that this is the greatest Indiana Jones we've had in about 3 freaking
Yeah.
decades or more. Like, oh my God. Let's go through some of the quick reviews here too. And again, I won't deep dive anything, but Eurogamer, 5 out of 5. Catherine Castle, Eurogamer, folks. Eurogamer. Let me say that again. 5 out of 5 from Eurogamer. This is okay. Smart, fun, and so very Indiana Jones. The Great Circle is a stealth action tour de force that marks a bold new era for machine games. Wow. Okay. IGN, Luke Riley, 9 out of 10. An irresistible and immersive global treasure hunt, and far and away the best indie story this century. In this century. Yep, that's about right. I guess 2000. Yep, of course. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle doesn't belong in a museum. It belongs on your hard drive where you can play the heck out of it. Wow. PC Gamer. Again, PC Gamer. Right? Ted Litchfield over at PC Gamer. 86 out of 100. What? PC Gamer says, like if an immersive sim got caught in a teleporter accident with Uncharted. Some aspects of the Great Circle are weaker than others. Of course, this is PC Gamer, but it joins Batman Arkham and GoldenEye in the god tier of licensed games.
It's high praise around the last one. Sure,
yeah. I had not read this one yet. I have not read any of these actually yet. So joins Batman Arkham and GoldenEye in the god tier of licensed
I'll throw Riddick in there too for the god tier of licensed games.
Yes, absolutely. Who else should we go here? All right. Games Radar, 5 out of 5 stars. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle shows that there's still plenty of left for Lara Croft and Nathan Drake to learn about raiding tombs from the master. Oh, shots fired at Tomb Raider and Uncharted, saying that this is a step above anything that they've made so far, Mav.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy.
That's what I've been hearing too, Mav. And if you got any quotes or you got anybody that you want to talk about that said something about this game too. But the one thing I have been hearing, Mav, is that the actual exploration in this game is fucking exploration. This is old school Tomb Raider. This is the movies. This is him in mysterious ass places, and you got to solve puzzles, and you got to figure out how to get up into new areas and how to open doors, and you are actually Indiana freaking Jones.
Yeah, that's been my thing about this. Like when I was watching the deep or the kind of deep dive podcast interview thing they had, and they were talking about the open areas where you can kind of go and explore, and there's always something to look and find and stuff like that. I was like, yes. That's what I want to do, because if I'm Indiana Jones, I don't want to be told I have to go here and do this. If I'm Indiana Jones, I want to feel like I discovered something. Right. I don't want to feel like the game made me discover this because it just happens to be on the pathway of the level, right? And that's kind of the special thing you can do with like first person as well to give that kind of immersive feeling. I think you can kind of capture things a little bit differently there. And I think in this way, in the spirit of it, it's going to kind of help in the favor there. And to the point of them talking about the exploration and stuff, like Machine Games isn't known for doing puzzles. Like it was part of the deep dive thing that I've watched was like them explaining, like we had to figure out how to do puzzles in games. We'd never really done it before. So it was like, how do we make them like enough to feel rewarding, but not hard enough to where it's gonna cause you to get stuck and frustrated and annoyed. So it seems like that was a decently compelling part of the experience from some of these reviews as well, is that they felt like part of the level. It felt like part of the journey and not necessarily just some gimmicky thing that somebody is telling you, just, "Hey, just go do this." You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
I find it, that's the most compelling part of this game that I'm looking forward to playing, is discovering things myself as Indiana Jones, figuring out the puzzles myself as Indiana Jones, getting out of the predicaments I get into as Indiana Jones, and figuring out how to get past the enemies and doing all these different things as somebody who's not going to just go be mowing down everybody like in a typical stealth kind of experience. You would like, hey, if I fail, hey, just bring out the assault rifle and let's go. This ain't that.
No.
This isn't that. This is making you kind of play it as if you were Indiana Jones.
Correct.
So staying true to all the metrics, and it seems like the praise about this is them, with the god tier of licensed IP, as games like that get remembered.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. No. That's
So like it's very rare when you. I mean, I would also put the RoboCop game up there.
yep.
Like I don't know what to say, like god tier or whatever, but capturing the essence of the feeling of the IP, RoboCop did it amazingly well. I think this is obviously gonna be a much bigger, production and stuff than that, so that takes it to another level, right? But, like, it is few games that are able to capture the magic of the IP they're trying to recreate.
Correct. And yeah, I'm just reading these reviews, and for the most part, like everything Mav is what I wanted to hear, right? And it's
Mhm.
it's it's not all sunshine, right? There are some lower scores here, again, out of place scores. Again, I'm always for throwing out the top
Yeah, it
and
ain't gonna be for
throwing the bottom.
everybody.
It's not going to be for everybody, but the main complaints are some people do find the combat clunky. Again, first person combat, especially melee combat, is very hard to pull off. And obviously, that's going to be a lot of it. Some people feel the combat is too clunky. Some people feel that the AI isn't very good. But like the main kind of sentiment is the story, the atmosphere, the stealth, the acting, the puzzles, the exploration is 100% pure Indiana Jones and the best Indiana Jones that we've ever had. Like that's like the across the board. Even the people that had problems with it, like, are saying all those things are there, and that's exactly what I was looking for at the end of the day out of my Indiana Jones. Um, Again, I was not expecting some of the conversation to be like, oh, this is one of the god tier of
Yeah.
all licensed IP. Like that blows me away. That anybody would come out. I mean, that just shows, like, again, it's not going to be the same for everybody. Not everybody's going to have the same opinions, but the fact that any one person decided that that was the case goes to show you the quality that they've nailed. That Machine Games has absolutely pulled off with a very challenging IP. Like you were just talking about, Mav, like the work that they did to make this game possible with an IP, again, that is so recognizable that if anything isn't there or if it's just not up to par, people are going to freaking call you out on it
Oh,
and
yeah.
they're not going to be happy with it. So again, hats off to everybody involved. And again, we heard that Lucas and Spielberg were jumping in and giving opinions throughout the process of this game as well. But shout out to Todd and Machine Games. This is another one of Todd's passion projects, right?
Yep.
That he's wanted to do forever. He's been talking with them, Indiana. He's pitched them Indiana Jones going back, I think, 20 years now, Mav, something like that, 25 years. He's pitched him Indiana Jones multiple times, and it just never worked out. And then when he got it, he was super excited. And then he turned to Machine Games because he said he had the utmost confidence that Machine Games could pull it off, that was his team.
Mhm.
He was right. He was right now.
Yep.
Did you have any
100%.
other comments that you wanted to bring in that you had seen at all or anything like that?
I mean, we could kind of just go through some of the people, some more of the little negative ones here, just to kind of like,
Yeah. Yeah.
keep it like pure Xbox is one.
Yeah, Pure Xbox gave it a 60, right? Yeah, and it said
Right.
ever since we caught wind of Machine Games making an Indiana Jones title, we've been very excited by the prospect. But ultimately, we're a little disappointed in the final product. The overall experience isn't bad, and it successfully sells the Indiana Jones fantasy. But the gameplay elements here just don't match up to the vibe of a fun time Um, indie adventure. The pacing is all out of whack. The open stealth driven levels don't work in the context of Indiana Jones romp, and the game just feels at odds with itself overall. We're always trying. We're always up for trying something different and for teams breaking genre tropes. But in the end, Indiana Jones and the Great Circle is almost it is at its most fun in fleeting moments, which is a shame considering the amount of care and attention that's been put into adapting the famous old franchise. So
Yeah,
obviously,
so some of them, like I saw Grub say something. I think it was Grub. Somebody else said something about the pacing as
okay,
well. So I feel like that's going to be a taste thing,
sure,
depending on if you're liking what you're doing in those areas where you feel like the pace is slowed down.
right.
And I think it's what I saw from other people that were having that kind of mentality was when it was in those bigger open zones and
Okay.
stuff, right? So I think it depends. Like again, this seems more like people wanting to be taken on a carried through a pathway to the end of the game kind of mentality, right?
Possibly,
Where
sure.
you have less of that freedom to do and explore and all that kind of stuff. Whereas that's personally what I look forward to, and seems like the people that love the game was more so the things that they loved about it, right? So
Mhm.
I think that's just going to be up to the individual and the type of gamer that you are. If you're looking for the Uncharted experience, you're looking for that Tomb Raider experience, which both of those have some different open aspects to them at different times. There's still more so carrying you through. Hey, this is what you do next. This is what you do next. This is what you do next. This is what you do next, and just kind of go that way. I think that for me, that's not necessarily the kind of experience I want in something like this
Right.
because those other games already exist,
Correct.
right?
Yeah, yeah,
Um,
they do.
so yeah, like if I want something that's more carrying me through, do this, keep this pace and adventure like going at a relatively um good rate all the way through to where you have less freedom because it in a game where you have a lot more freedom, the pacing is more up to you.
Right. Yeah, I
And
agree.
if you
Agree.
kind of get in a zone where you're saying, "Hey, I'm going to explore this area for a while," that's what they want you to do, right? If that ain't your cup of tea, you're gonna be a little bit more bored and going through that and feeling like, "No, I want to get to the next set piece." You know what I mean? So, overall, I think that's kind of what we're seeing there. While Pong stepped away for a second, I'll get to a couple super chats. We got Danny Passion Official with a $5 super chat. Says Pillars of Eternity 2 early access will kill this game on Steam. Sorry for being negative. I was excited for the game, but after watching continued gameplay, it broke me. Hey, you mean it broke you to where you need to play Pillars of Eternity 2 early access, or to where you saw Indiana Jones gameplay and you're not no longer excited for it? I think Indiana Jones is going to do fine. I don't think it's going to like have the player count on Steam or anything of like one of these massive multiplayer type games like a Marvel Rivals or Pillars of Eternity 2. But I think ultimately it's going to be it's going to do pretty good numbers, and it's also going to do really well in Game Pass as well. So
Sure.
I'm not really concerned for Indiana Jones and the Steam numbers that it ends up picking up. And then let's see, we also got a $5 super chat from Alvin. Appreciate you, Alvin. Said people all year, no good games release in December. What are they doing? December just the first week. Hold my indie rivals PoE beer.
That's
Yeah.
correct. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, dude, 100%, man. Marvel Rivals is a lot of people are excited for that. Pillars of Eternity, a lot of people are excited for that. And if you want a great single player experience, you got Indie.
yep,
The first week in December feels like November. What we're used to for November in game launch. It's kind of before Black Friday takes off. But yeah, this December is crazy. And guess what, guys? February is around the corner, and it gets fucking crazier. Kingdom, Kingdom, what is it? Kingdom Come
Yep.
Deliverance,
2.
2 got
Mhm.
moved up a week.
Yep.
See that?
Yep.
Crazy.
It's looking fucking amazing
Yeah,
as well.
and they released the specs for that as well.
Yes. Yes. We got the specs for
Across the
that,
board, consoles and they're targeting 60,
which was nice to
1440
see.
on Series X and PS5. Danny Patchett Official, $2 super chat says, Path of Exile 2 early access.
Not
Not Pillar.
Pillars.
Yeah, did I say Pillars of Eternity?
Yeah,
Sorry.
you
Yeah,
said
yeah,
Pillars.
my
That's
bad.
yeah, yeah.
PoE is gonna
Yeah,
fuck with my
Pillars of
head.
Eternity.
Path of Exile 2, yes.
Yes.
My bad.
No, and Danny, that's the great part. You don't have to be. It wouldn't have mattered. Wolfenstein 3 would have been buried by Path of Exile 2 earlier. Again, none of
Yeah.
that matters. Path of Exile 2 has got its moment right now, which is dope. Again, you already heard me. I double dipped. If as long as the servers hold, I'm playing tomorrow, right? So I'm all in on Path of Exile 2. But Indiana Jones, again, is a totally different genre. There is no real good time of the year anymore for game releases. You are
Mhm.
going to be competing against something at this point in this industry right now. The way this industry is rolling, next year's even worse than this year. There's not going to be a dry spell by the looks of things next year at all. So the good news is for someone like you who watched some gameplay and just it doesn't appeal to you, Indiana Jones doesn't appeal to you, so be it. You got Path of Exile 2 lined up, right? You're ready to rock and roll. You got no problems. You got plenty to play. That's the beautiful part. Again, I talk about this all the time. That's why I call this the golden age. One of the reasons why is because back in the day, if that new launch game didn't hit, generally speaking, that was like the new game that everybody was waiting on. And if it sucked, you really didn't have 5 to 10 others waiting in the wings. Now we get 5 to 10 others waiting in the wings all the damn time. We've got shit everywhere to play. We got back
Mhm.
catalogs, libraries to play that we've never even touched. Right. So it is a beautiful thing. But yeah, Danny, I appreciate the opinion. Again, I'll be right there with you, brother. I'm playing Path of Exile 2 for sure. I'm going to see about Indiana Jones. If the servers are bad on Path of Exile 2, I will be buying into the early access if I can budget it in and be playing that instead. But just pumped, Mav. Just pumped. I just, what a moment. And again, we talk about how reviews don't matter, but we've also, for us personally, playing games,
Doesn't matter to
it,
me,
no, it
but it
doesn't
has
matter.
an
But we've
effect.
always talked
Yeah.
about the effect that it has on the studios, on the publishers. Again, there's a lot of contracts still written to this day with Metacritic scores giving bonuses, right? It does, unfortunately, these review days still do matter to the wider, bigger audiences and about the anticipation of games that are launching. And it does have a massive impact. Otherwise, the publishers and devs wouldn't care about this shit anymore, but they still do. They still control when everybody can talk about it. They still do. They still release them to certain people, not other people. So all of that tells you that the industry disagrees with those of us that say that reviews don't matter. They do matter to a large swath of people and a large swath of the industry itself, business wise. So it's just good to see this impressions, these reviews come out this way for Machine Games. And again, for me specifically, it's about Indiana Jones, the IP, that it still has this kind of pull, that people still sit up and take notice when something in this IP, in this world is done right. It still hits people, and that's what I'm hearing again from all the reviews, even some of the bad ones. Like it, they captured the Indiana Jones feel at the end of the day, and that's all I really wanted out of this. But it sounds like we got even more than that. So, man, it's good to see, man. It's good to see. I love it. I love it. PTK Blam. I see you, brother. What's going on? Great to see you in here. Let's see here. What are you guys talking about? 400K plus. Zach Riley. Who? Marvel Rivals is at 400K?
Wow.
Jesus.
Really?
Yeah. Supposedly. That's what everybody's saying in the chat. What?
Must be all those Xdefiant players moving over.
Oh, easy. Dancing on graves. Here we
So,
go.
hey, that game was digging its own grave the second it was announced, bro.
Yeah, I know. I know where you're coming from. I get it. Let's take a look. Let's take a quick look. See if I can. Yeah. 418,000. Jesus.
Jeez, wow. But how many out? Like it just like hit it like what, like 6 or so, or
It
like 5? something like that.
Yeah, it doesn't show what time it started, but yeah, it just must have been an hour ago or 2 hours ago. Again, free to play. So again, you download it, nothing. Well, we might as well just jump into some quick Marvel's Rivals talk since we're here. We'll pull up the bar tweet here too. Real quick, and we'll talk about this right now. Because it came out today as well. They confirmed the cool news about Marvel Rivals is that your battle passes will never expire. So much like Halo, like Psycho had to jump into our DMs and protect Halo's position is the one that did this because Insider Gaming wrote an article about it today, and their headline made it seem like they were saying in general that they were doing something completely different, but it was more in the hero shooter space. They are the first game to go with this never expiring battle pass. So if you don't complete the battle pass in that season, that's okay. You can go back and play them at any time and earn the rewards. And the first battle pass is going to be $5 because it is a smaller season. And then
Mhm.
going forward, the future battle passes are only going to be $10. So again, reasonable math in this day and age. Battle passes, are we really getting reasonable now? Skins, I've heard, are what, 20, 25, something like that?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I know for it's how are they gonna handle skins? Is it just gonna be different looks for the characters? Because,
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's a hero shooter, so it's not like Fortnite where it's, like, new
No.
characters, right?
Well, they got characters they're gonna be dropping, obviously, but
Yeah,
no,
yeah,
they're
yeah.
just doing the alternate versions of like
Mhm.
Iron Man gets all of his different armors,
Yeah.
right?
That's the
It's
that's the
yeah,
interesting thing, like, with, hero shooters because 'cause they're kinda stuck with, like, like, a game like Call of Duty, you can have oh, you got Nicki Minaj now, or you got this or that. So I think like it sometimes can be interesting. Like with like Fortnite, you can have like, oh, here's Wolverine, here's Captain America, or here's Gambit, or like just random things that are just gonna always appeal to different fans. So when you have skins, it's just about how badass they are, because you already got the character. So like with one thing, it's hard to compare um prices for things comparatively to different games. Like Diablo is people can talk about how overpriced and expensive some of the skins are in Diablo as well, but I think it kind of comes inherently where it's just outfits or different looks for your already existing characters and stuff. So Fortnite always kind of like has a little bit of a different thing with theirs, right? And you can get some for like $15. You get some are like $30. Depends on the characters and who they are. Like so I think battle passes are good if you have great unlockables for skins as well. I don't like when they stick the battle passes to just the kind of the shit that nobody cares about. So we'll see what I'm all for free to play and battle passes and all that kind of stuff. I'm not like against it. I think it's a great model, especially for multiplayer games because they're meant to last and they're meant to go on and on and on and on. And I think this model gives games legs because you always can have new content to generate excitement around the communities and you have no barrier of entry. Plus, it's always just completely optional, right? So it's hard to get right. But from what you're saying, it sounds like they're on the right track here. Because you're not talking about $5 for a shorter one to start with. You know, I don't know how much the skins are or what they're going to look like, but I imagine you could do some really cool stuff with the characters. Like pay homage to different comics of the past, different versions of them. Because there's tons of different uh, themes you could roll with on all these characters and stuff too. So yeah, we'll see how it does, man. But it's a 400,000 players already. It's off to a hot start. A- And this time of year too, with everything else dropping. I mean, it's going against Path of Exile early access too, right?
yeah, it will be. I mean, that launches tomorrow afternoon, so
Well, I'm curious how that's gonna like battle
yeah,
against it tomorrow. Like, what's Path of Exile's numbers gonna be like tomorrow?
yeah, it'll be
Is
pretty.
that
Yeah,
man? The fight for time is insane with these games. They're fighting for engagement, like in players' time. It's just astronomical challenge. So when the game comes out like this and has this kind of a launch, that's pretty crazy.
It is. And I make again when they do it the right way, the word kind of spreads, right? Again, they are competing with a lot of different games, and obviously Overwatch hasn't gone away. As much as everybody says Overwatch 2 isn't the same as Overwatch 1, it's still in the top 10 in the most played games almost across the board between console and PC. Like, it's crazy. Overwatch 2 just continues to dominate because everybody loves the characters. Like, even if they don't like what they did with the game itself, they still have their fan favorites, and it is like the hero shooter like everybody goes back to. I'm really trying to find your bars tweet here, and I got a dog who's acting like a kid tonight, which is she's bugging the hell out of me. But I was trying to find your bars tweet, and I don't know what happened to it. I just searched his freaking page too. God dang it! I thought I posted that. Did I post that in our DMs today? Because we were laughing.
I think you did. No, it was last night. I think Steel posted it.
Steel
In
posted
gaming, yeah, in the gaming news group.
in the game news. That's what I
Yeah,
thought.
yeah.
Okay. All right.
I just put a code in the chat that Marvel Rivals Twitter account had posted. It's for an Iron Man costume.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
That's
So
dope.
they said to welcome y'all to the game, use code blah 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 to redeem the Iron Man armor model 42 costume now. So I put that in the chat in case nobody that wants, or in case you guys don't want to play it didn't see it on Twitter.
He deleted it. No wonder why I couldn't find it. He deleted
Oh,
it.
Ibarra tweeted because you realized that. Okay.
Yep, he deleted
I wish
it.
I would have screenshotted it.
Oh, and none of us did because Steele just posted it as a regular post.
Yeah.
Oh, that coward. He ran. At least Rod kept his up and took the heat, man. Yo.
I think he ran because he looked like an idiot for that one specific reason.
Probably. Okay, so to paraphrase what Ybarra
Yeah.
did, Rod came out with that post right after GGG Games had the awesome Path of Exile 2 deep dive, right? And we all know that Rod came out and said, "Can't we kind of like action RPG kind of seems like it's kind of becoming meaning a lot of things. Can we have Diablo like become a normal thing?" Like, it was so blatantly obvious that he was salty over the response and the absolute blowing away of expectations that GGG did with their deep dive. So then Quick, and again, he goes by Quick on Twitter, but Ybarra, he's no longer part of Blizzard, right? But he tweets salty shit about Microsoft and Xbox and about gaming and all this kind of stuff all the damn time. Well, his baby is obviously still one of his babies is obviously still Overwatch, because he came out with a similar tweet, but he specifically was pointing out Chinese companies copying games like Overwatch with Marvel Rivals, and he brought up I forget the name of the game that's copying Horizon and making it a Monster Hunter Horizon game. Oh God, I can't remember the name of it. Anyways, he brought up those two games and was kind of
Jasper's got
Oh, he does it
in the DMs for us. Yeah.
Cool. There it is. Okay. So Ybarra's exact tweet before, and again, he did remove this, said, "Looks like Overwatch Marvel Rivals ships tomorrow, much like Light of Mortirum." That's the copy, a clear copy of Horizon Zero Dawn out of China. I mean, even the character name Widowmaker in Overwatch versus Black Widow in Marvel Rivals, LOL. NetEase / Tencent, all the same. Come on, Ybarra. Bro, come on, bro. This is competition. And yes, take it as a compliment that the minute that Marvel Rivals was shown, everybody said, "Holy shit, even the level designs look like Overwatch." Right?
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
Everybody said that. Like, oh, they just reskinned Overwatch with the Marvel IP. But okay, so take that as a compliment that they chasing after you. But to be this salty because that company is taking an IP that they purchased and paid a lot of money for, by the way, and are taking a risk by going free to play in that space with battle passes and skins, which we know is highly competitive. Your old game, Overwatch 2, has a huge margin lead on any competition coming in fresh, even a Marvel game. Come on, man. Why why are we being
Yeah.
petty? Why are we being petty about China taking IP and doing something with it? And like Horizon Zero Dawn, Sony has not shown or taken the initiative to move some of their IP into other genres. So, does it not make sense, as Steele and I talked about last week on Living Split Screen, that a company would come along, look at Horizon, and go, this is a monster hunt. You got Dinobots that are the coolest shit ever. Everybody loves freaking Dinobots. That's what they look like. They look like fucking Dinobots. The minute the game showed up on the scene, everybody's like, oh my God, Dinobots.
Mhm.
And you have a game like that, but you're not going to make it into a Monster Hunter game, which it naturally looks like with co-op gameplay. Like that to me is like an easy move that Sony just never made. So you're going to get mad that another company came along and said, you know what, we'll go make that game since you guys won't. Come on, man. That's competition.
Yeah.
That's competition. Let's go.
Yeah. See if they go if Blizzard goes the Nintendo route and says we'll sue them because we invented hero shooter mechanics or
And
some
Dinobots. We
bullshit
invented
like that.
Dinobots.
Yeah.
Take over. I'm gonna go get this.
Yeah, no problem, man. Yeah, like the Ibarra has kind of come across as a little salty, for sure. We've seen Aaron Green or not Aaron Greenberg, Rod Ferguson do that other tweet as well. You know, it's interesting seeing like obviously that we have these clone games out there or that they are, hey, this is working, so we're gonna do that. We're gonna do it all still depends on one thing, like how good is it? And is it doing better than the other game? Is it changing things enough to be original and unique? Like all along, a hero shooter type game built around the Marvel's IP has a great chance to be successful if it's solid. So, but it could also completely fail and be a disaster if it's bad. There's been a lot of clone games that have come out there, or games that look a lot like another game or a game that looks like this or that, that have completely been disasters because they suck. So, what people played from the or testing on this game, there was a lot of positivity about it, right? So that led to a lot more to the hype. In fact, I really wasn't too interested in it because it looked a lot like Overwatch until people started playing the betas and the early access stuff, and they said, "Wow, it's great." But and I'm a Marvel fan, but now I'm definitely going to give it a try. I'm not a big hero shooter fan. I don't really love hero shooters, but this game is definitely going to be one that that I am going to give a go. It also because of a lot of the stuff I'm seeing with the characters, like characters that I love, just look badass takes on, 'em, right? Um, but the funniest thing to me was in his tweet specifically that part where he says, "I mean, even the character name Widowmaker in Overwatch versus Black Widow and Marvel Rivals." LOL. Like I had to immediate question is like, is he joking? Or does he know?
He has to be.
He but then
There's
why
no
put that?
way.
It just makes him look stupid by putting that
Right.
joke in the tweet when you're actually clearly complaining.
Right. But how would he not?
So
He obviously knows that that character's been around in Marvel for a lot
you,
longer than
you would
Overwatch was
you would think,
a thing.
but like it. So at that point, is he just asking for attention? Like because like I was baffled like in by seeing that because like yeah he put LOL at the end.
Sure.
Right, but it almost seemed like as a yeah, and even this, I mean, it's so extreme that they even copied the name, and I'm like, "You gotta be this is he has to be sarcastic here?"
Yes.
But you don't put sarcasm in the middle of a complaint themed thing like that because it just doesn't separate itself whatsoever. So either he's really bad at making jokes or he's actually doesn't know that Black Widow existed and is an important, very popular Marvel character. Um, and so if you want to say, well, yeah, they made Black Widow play a lot like Widowmaker, and like the gameplay is fine. You can make that argument for sure, but bring out the name. it just makes you look even more petty and stupid. And the fact that he deleted the tweet now,
Yeah.
like
Right.
I
Yep.
mean, come on, man. Like really, so a lot of people are saying that Widowmaker was kind of based on Black Widow, but like I'm not sure on that. But looking at the gameplay that was posted for Black Widow, because I watched the trailer, I actually thought it kind of also looked like the Avengers gameplay for Black Widow, the same kind of
Mm,
movement styles and things
mhm.
that she does as well, with kind of like the little zip up with the thing, and then she got her batons, and she also has the sniper and stuff. Like obviously is kind of a theme going with multiple games of kind of the same style, and I think it's based on the comics, you know. So
Obviously,
she's
it's
an
based on
assassin.
right.
But anyway, it just overall, it was funny seeing that take on it. I think ultimately this game's going to feel different than Overwatch. It's going to play different than Overwatch. It's going to look a lot like Overwatch. It's going to also feel and play somewhat similar to Overwatch, right? And that's fine as long as it's a great game.
Yeah.
As long as it's fun to play and it keeps people hooked and stuff like that. Overwatch, this gives more competition for them to be compelling and to create awesome content.
Yep.
So if you're an Overwatch fan, which there's a lot because it's in the top 15 played on all the platforms every single week, seems like, at least in the US, they're gonna have to keep innovating and keep doing good. So
Agreed. Twitch tracker is showing there's 10,748 live channels playing Marvel Rivals right now with 230,000 viewers right now.
wow,
Jesus, just juggernaut. Like again, hero shooters are streaming juggernauts as well. Like that's their thing. Now again, it always is. How long do you keep everybody interested?
yeah,
How long do you keep people attached to it? Does it replace for how many people does it replace Overwatch for, right? As something new, as something different. And can you keep them, right? It's the key to all this shit in this space. Again, highly competitive, but again, to end the year, Mav, in 2024, which has been a fucking phenomenal year, in my opinion, of gaming, like ridiculously good year, to have the year wrapping up this way, and you're throwing in a free to play hero shooter now that's actually doing like things like like really good. Again, it's not just Marvel IP. People who played the game, again, including Steel, who could be highly critical, said it was freaking fun to play and that the mechanics were well done. The heroes all felt good. The Marvel characters all felt good. The superpowers all felt good. Like it was a thing. Like he was like, no, this is actually a good game as far as hero shows go. And he's not the biggest hero shooter fan, obviously, but he's re-downloading it now. And he's going to play it. And like I said, me as the non-fan, I'm still going to download it and try it out. But God, what a way to end the year, bro. What a way. We just got Stalker 2. Now we're getting Indiana Jones. We got Marvel Rivals on top of everything else that we've had drop. Wow.
yep.
Pretty damn cool, man. Pretty
Oh,
damn cool.
we got a $2 super chat from Brandon Martin. Says
I was waiting for you to read
Overwatch
this
is
one.
overrated. LOL.
He's gonna make you say it. He paid. Go.
Overwatch is overrated. LOL. Fly Eagles fly.
Could you
Fly
do
Eagles
that
fly.
any weaker? Yell it out.
Fly, fucking Eagles fly.
There we go. See, Brandon, I got him to do it. Let's go.
Okay.
I love when Brandon comes in here with that shit. I love
Yeah,
that it irritates
thanks,
you so
Brandon.
much. Oh shit. Well, Mav, what do you want to talk about, brother? I didn't send anything to
Talk
DMs because
about
we both got here
Xdefiant.
late.
We're
Talk
talking
about
about
Xdefiant. Okay.
we're talking about successful free to play experiences, man. Taking off, having
I
a great
know
Path of Exile
you.
2. We got Marvel Rivals. I mean,
Yeah.
this the hype is immense. What was it again? Path of Exile is like the most purchased thing on Steam, even more than
Yeah,
Steam
even
Deck.
more than the Steam Deck, which is
Marvel
rare for a game
Rivals
that
is
has it.
already hitting over
Yeah.
400,000 on its first few hours of launch. Then we have Xdefiant. Oh, also Foam Stars.
Oh yeah, we got Foam Stars. Foam Stars announced that their final the next season coming will be their
Yeah.
final update. They will keep the servers open.
Yeah,
That's
that
done.
was man. These games, right? Man. So Xdefiant. I had a Mavcast yesterday.
I know you had a Mavcast. I know. I caught a few minutes of it. I was listening to. You went through the history, which was very nice. Of kind of what they've done to the Tom Clancy brand. And that was beautiful, brother. Reminding everybody that Ubisoft is a killer of joy in a lot of ways for a lot of fans, and they are just getting worse by what it sounds like, it seems like. But yeah, so anybody who doesn't know, Xdefiant was rumored, I think Insider Gaming, I think Tom had it a month and a half ago, 2 months ago, came out and said that Xdefiant was going to be shutting down. And of course, Mark, what's his last name? Sorry, I forgot. Do you remember? What's his name? Mark
Ruben.
Rubin. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mark Rubin, director, came out and said, not true, not going to happen. Got lots of content planned. We've had our struggles, but we are seeing decent numbers, and we'll continue to grow this game. Now we know when there's smoke, generally in this industry, there's some fire. And it wound up yesterday, came out and got announced that, in fact, it is shutting down. They've pulled it. You're no longer able to get, actually, I don't, yeah. Let's see here. This is direct from Mark Rubin. Hello, Xdefiant fans. I am unfortunately here today to announce that Xdefiant will be shutting down starting today, December 3rd, 2024. New downloads and player registrations will no longer be available. We will still release our Season 3 content in the near future. Exact date to be determined. And the servers will remain active until June 3rd, 2025. So you guys got about 6 months, right? 6 months to get it in. Let's go. I know Mav will be playing nonstop every day, and screw all these other games coming out. Fuck them. For those who purchase the Ultimate Founders Pack, you'll receive a full refund. Players who made any purchases within the last 30 days will also be fully refunded. Those refunds should happen automatically within 8 weeks of today, and you can find more details on our official website. A few years ago, Ubisoft and the that's San Francisco, right? Dev team embarked on a bold adventure to develop a new arcade shooter called Xdefiant. It was from the start an incredible challenge. Not only were we trying to shake up the genre by removing skill-based matchmaking while bringing back a more old-school arcade shooter experience, but we were also diving into a high-risk, high-reward realm of free-to-play. And for that, I want to applaud not only the dev team, but also Ubisoft leadership for taking a chance. They also shut down the studio. Those people are now laid off for the vast majority of them. I think they're keeping around a skeleton crew to get out Season 3 content and that kind of stuff. But otherwise, I know a lot of people were unfortunately reporting, yes, Ubisoft closes the San Francisco and Osaka offices and ramping down its Sydney office as well. So hats and hearts and thoughts go out to all the devs obviously affected by this decision. Again, this is the high risk world, but when you're talking about Ubisoft, especially a bloated company that is not doing well in the stock prices or anywhere else financially in their company, ramifications of something like this happening is going to be studio closures. And so hats off to, again, and I hope you all find new placement anywhere, right? Whether it's in this industry or elsewhere for you and your families. I hope that goes well. Always hate to see this stuff. But this has been a long time coming, Mav, as you said, and you were the one who, played betas of this and you tried this game out and you were telling us in the background, like, nah, they ain't doing this, and then they made a lot of changes and there was actually some people who were actually having a pretty good time with it. But like we were just talking about with the Overwatch space and the hero shooter space, Mav, this is a very challenging, high risk area to jump into with anything. And then, whether you do it publicly or you're whispering it in the background, naming yourself a Call of Duty killer, or that you're going to take, like, anytime those labels get put on you, whether by yourself or just by other people, like I would, like as a director or developer, I would be shooting those things down instantaneously, be like, hey, no, we ain't going there. That never ends well. How many Halo killers have there been? they all no longer with us, right? You can't, you want to be aggressive. You want to come out with your best shot. You want to shoot for the best, right? That's what everybody should do in a competitive market or in any competitive space. You always want to shoot for the king. But don't let yourself be labeled that publicly or come out and say it publicly or even whisper it behind the scenes to your team as that's the case, because that is the death knell to your game. Like when you do that, expectations are through the roof. But also, Mav, you did very well on Mavcast again, talking about the bastardization by Ubisoft of the Tom Clancy brand, and that this game also had weighing its down is a hugely disgruntled group of gamers who look at Ubisoft very differently than just 10, 15 years ago. And they look at Ubisoft with a very, very bad light because of a lot of different things. One of those things being what they've done with the Tom Clancy brands overall. So anytime, and for people who don't remember, right, this started out branded as Tom Clancy, right? They started that out until they got a massive amount of pushback, right? And they went and made changes to it. Like you said, Mav, I think you said it was probably the worst initial showing or beta that you ever been a part
I've
of, right?
played
Yeah.
other ones before. Actually, like
Yeah.
the first play that I had of Heartland
Yeah.
was way better than the first play I had of Xdefiant.
Right.
Right. Like I played early betas and different kinds of games. Like Vanguard, remember how
Yeah.
disastrous the Vanguard beta was
Yeah.
and how bad that was?
Mhm.
The first the first testing of Xdefiant was like made Vanguard look like a 10 out of 10.
Jesus.
It made that beta look. It made the Battlefield beta that was broken
Mhm.
feel like a 10 out of 10. It was that bad and that cringy as well.
Yep.
But like I had said, like over time, like they had made a lot of improvements. Like they changed the theme to get rid of some of that
Mhm.
cringiness out of there. To the bastard took away some of the bastardizing the Clancy
Yes.
characters and stuff out. They ended up improving the gunplay. They ended up having some better map designs and all this other kind of stuff. But even after it launched, and played it, and I was like, "Hey, that's pretty good, right? Pretty good in that space, or even just good." When you're trying to take on the best, is nowhere near good enough.
Right.
Because the second the king comes out and drops the highest level they've ever done,
Yep.
you look like ass comparatively, right?
Right.
So you can be good, you can be fun, but why will people play you if there's something else that much better, especially when it is so similar? So that was the point I always had with Xdefiant after playing, is like the second the next big Call of Duty comes out, player base is going to abandon ship because the player base is built around disgruntled Call of Duty players. And their main go-to for Xdefiant was that, oh, there's no skill-based matchmaking. So this is where we want to play. So that way we can just own noobs all day. Right? Well, yeah, cool. That's fine. But still doesn't change how good the actual game is, how good it looks, how like overall the grind that you experience, that like the Call of Duty has captured gunplay and graphics and all these other things melded together like no other shooter has been able to capture in an arcade feel fun game, right? So if you're looking for that kind of experience, then why just because it's free, and mind you, Call of Duty has a free version as well. It's called Warzone. Doesn't mean that everybody's just going to all of a sudden abandon ship. And they had, to Xdefiant's credit, they had a lot more success than I thought they would. They ended up cracking 15 million total players over a certain amount of time and all this other kind of stuff. Yeah, and I think they've only been live for like 6 months, a little over 6 months. So that's not bad for a free to play game. It's not horrible.
No.
They definitely have worse games that have done way worse out there,
Yep.
but they saw the numbers decline after Call of Duty came out. They saw the numbers plummet, and that was their nail in the coffin. They're like, well, we gave it a shot, but we ain't gonna be able to take on the king. The thought that they had the audacity to, if you're gonna do it, you go big.
Yes.
It's not, you go big on it, right? You go all the way. You make something that is so clearly better than that you do grab all the players, right? Um, so I mean, part of it's how great Call of Duty is again this year. I mean, but it was just so predictable that this was going to happen. And for me, the biggest problem is that it's a waste of time, waste of money, waste of dev time, that waste of resources that could have been better spent on the games that the people are actually asking for that they've abandoned in the Clancy verse and also a lot of other Ubisoft franchises and IP. Instead, they've been dicking around doing all these other experiments. So this was in that when we started complaining about it a couple years ago, Pong, when they announced Heartland and the Ghost Recon, I think it was Frontlines and this like back to back to back and kind of consecutive all pretty close together, right? They still were dicking around with Skull and Bones, trying to figure out what that was. And it had been delayed, and all these things that were going on. Then we hear the news that they had canceled Ghost Recon Frontlines, and they had canceled some other games of service games that were unannounced as well. So we look at Ubisoft now, and as shout out to CMBR Ray, who was in the chat last night for the
yes.
Mavcast, had
love Ray. What's
yeah,
going on, Ray?
he's awesome.
Yeah.
88% down comparatively to their hot peak, which was like 5 years ago or so, 4 or 5 years ago. 88% down. They're worth 12% of what they used to be as a company, but they still have about the same amount of employees.
Nuts.
Like, yeah, they've been doing layoffs and stuff, but just think about that as it's a disaster. And and part of the reason why is because they haven't been putting out good, compelling games that are going to be drawing the people. And part of it's because also people have lost faith in Ubisoft to where even if they do release a solid game or a pretty good game, it's just like people like that's Ubisoft.
Oh,
it's Ubisoft.
That's what they've developed.
I'm not gonna. Yeah, right. They've put that
thought.
The branding of Ubisoft on a game does not do the game justice now in terms of the chances for its success. The Ubisoft original, it could be the worst thing you see on a game right now to actually hope that it has success because people have lost faith with them because of their mishandlings of everything. Right. Mm-hmm. And that's, I mean, you have, like I said, they have some good stuff. Right. I think Star Wars Outlaws is pretty damn good. I think Avatar was an underrated game as well. It's pretty good. I think Anno is a great city builder game. I think like Crew Motorfest was fun. I mean, it's kind of like the popcorn version of Forza Horizon or whatever, but like it is what it is. It's a solid, fun game. But like nothing takes off as well as it could. Right. Because of all this, and part of it's because they're missing the things that gave them their identity. Right. They rested on the laurels of success of Rainbow Six Siege. They just said, well, hey, we have a hit here. We're just going to keep adding on. No new Rainbow Six game.
Right.
No new Ghost Recon game after they mishandled the launch of the last one. Mm-hmm. No new Splinter Cell in over a generation. It's a generation and a half now. And that's where we're at. The Division, instead of keep great support on Division 2, which was played by many and loved by many, they didn't build upon that. No, they're like, well, it's not great enough. We want to go after free-to-play games of service model. So we're going to move the staff over to this other thing, stick around for a year or two, and then cancel it. And then, oh, by the way, by doing this, we're going to hurt the ongoing support of the Division 2 and delay the ability for us to be able to make the Division 3. Which was the game, the Division 2, and the Division franchise seems like what they were going for to be able to hopefully hit on. But they didn't even have the vision to see that in front of their face. They can get slapped in the face with success and not know it. Because they see something else more successful or that is amazing out there, like a Fortnite or Call of Duty. They want a Fortnite or they want a Call of Duty.
Correct.
The thing that's missing in the industry is Ubisoft, but Ubisoft is not them anymore. They've lost who they are. And that's my plea to them because I think the only way they can get out of it is make great versions of your most successful franchises and deliver them to the core audience of who they were meant for in the first place and then build upon that. But I don't know if they have it in them anymore. I'm actually really worried about Splinter Cell remake at this point.
I'm very worried about Splinter Cell. We've talked about that, right? Because of the reception to Star Wars Outlaws, which I still haven't played yet, by the way. One of my most anticipated games this year, I still haven't played. Thanks, Ubisoft. Appreciate it. I'll now wait at this point. Appreciate you guys. I'll get you on one of those big sales. Especially now that you're taking out all the stealth elements too. Now I don't. Now I've got questions about that game, but yeah, I am worried about that too. I just this goes back. We don't need another 30-minute deep dive of Ubisoft and their problems and how many rants we have been on. Like this is like, I think now that Square has turned the corner, man, Ubisoft is like the most targeted company we've ever had. And I love Ubisoft. Again, they're my fast food of development. I love their games. Like I love the majority of their games, right? But the facts are the facts. Eves and his family have absolutely taken what Ubisoft had built as one of the world's largest publishers and one of the most valuable holders of IP in the entire world. And that was at one time an actual fact. I know some of you, if you don't know Ubisoft's history, you'd be like, what? Come on. No, that's a fact. And have destroyed, decimated that company completely, chasing pots of gold that they never knew how to create or find, that they have shown time and time again just to make absolutely horrible decisions, created an overly bloated company that is so unwieldy and so unmanageable that they have issues everywhere. And that is obvious when you see some of the games. And again, some of the games come out really fantastic quality. Again, I haven't played Avatar yet either. And I really have an interest to, even though I love the movies. I just didn't like what I was seeing from the game. However, I've watched people play it. I've seen things on it. Like, it is gorgeous. It is absolutely beautiful. It is an amazing looking game. Like, that quality is there. Again, Assassin's Creed Valhalla carried the beginning of the generation. When the consoles launched, Valhalla was one of the best representations of current gen hardware when that new hardware got out the door and we got to play games and we wanted to see, what these new consoles were capable of. Valhalla was a fantastically gorgeous looking game. Ubisoft has undeniable talent, but they've lost so much of that, and they continue to be bloated to the point where they just can't seem to get a grip on anything and control what their teams are doing. And they don't really give their teams a whole lot of direction, it doesn't seem like, or if they do, it seems to be, again, as we've talked about, we know this from firsthand experience accounts, that it is about the monetization first and about the fun gameplay way down the list. Like, it just starts when a game is pitched. The first question out of the upper management's, mouths are, how are we going to monetize this? Right. That's why we've heard that Splinter Cell wasn't made for an entire generation, was because those questions couldn't be answered, even though they tried. Right. So Ubisoft is, unfortunately, like you said, Mav, in a very, very bad spot. And again, I'm not going to hold my breath on Splinter Cell, even at this point. Even though it's been announced, there hasn't been any cancellations. They've confirmed that they're still working on it. I'm not going to hold my breath. Ubisoft needs to get out from underneath Yves and the family. I believe that. I've been saying that since basically I started podcasting, that I thought Yves needed to leave this industry. He is out of touch with a lot of things, and this is not even getting into the HR stuff and all the issues that are still not fixed on that side of things. He's just not good. He's taken, and I know it's his baby. And again, I don't like to say that, and I don't say it lightly about somebody who created this thing, but what he created and what he's turned it into are way two different things. It is a Frankenstein monster right now, and it doesn't work. So, it's sad to see these things come to an end, because again, he did bring some big people, and Mark Rubin and some of these guys are some of the original Call of Duty people. Were on this team with Xdefiant. And that's why the Call of Duty killer started getting spread around. And that did. I just confirmed in the article that, that had been mentioned internally and kind of publicly from Ubisoft, that they were going to go up against and try to compete with Call of Duty. Again, just don't do that. Don't set those expectations on a new IP like that, like at all. I don't care who you are. But they had a ton of experienced veterans on this team for Xdefiant. And still, this is the result. They could not, in this competitive free to play space, produce a game that, in any way, shape, or form, was compelling to people to stick around and to invest in it. Because again, free to play is about investment. You have to have the people that are buying into your game, not just with their time, but also with their wallets, because you are offering a vast majority of your players a free to play experience and they're not paying a dime. You need those people to actually give back to you. They couldn't do it.
The other issue
So
with this is that I think they're actually shutting it down, right?
yes.
So
June
right.
2025. It's over. It's all, yeah, it's done.
So, when that happens, which will be in like
6
7
months.
months,
Mhm.
yeah, 6 months, yeah. Um, right now, what they're doing is they're going to be refunding people that have bought the basically
The
the
big founders pack.
founders pack, and then
Yep.
people that have purchased anything within the last 30
30
days.
days. Yep.
So anybody that has bought anything between the last 30 days and the launch of this game, you're fucked. You believed in it. You stood behind Ubisoft thinking this was going to be something they're going to keep supporting for a long time. Worst case scenario, maybe they stop with the seasons or something and they keep the servers open, all that kind of stuff. Nope. If you invested in this game, you basically, hopefully you had a great time the time you played and you felt like you got enjoyment out of your things. But I know playing games that are like games of service or battle passes, part of it is building up your collection of stuff and being able to switch stuff whenever you want and all these other kind of things. Just gone. You just money out the window, right? So it sucks when there's add-on content or um skins and all these other kind of things that just, hey, disappeared. Never gonna be able to use it again. Sorry guys. It's like I don't know, man. Like it's pretty shitty. But I mean that's part of the gamble
Yep.
of that
It is.
ecosystem and with that model.
Yep.
But even like foam stars are not shutting down the servers.
No, not as of right now, but we know
Yeah.
Square
It probably
does
eventually
shut
it
down
will.
servers. Yeah. Yeah.
Eventually they will. But I mean they and I'll like what they did with Babylon's Fall too, where they like just shut it down a year after its release, but nobody really played it. But this 15 million players played this game.
Yeah.
Over 15 million.
Over 15 million.
So there could be millions of people that's spent buying skins and doing all this different stuff that's just gone. I
Yeah,
don't
and
know.
that's
I think
again.
if you're gonna go after that model, you gotta like stand behind it to an extent
Kind
as a
of.
big publisher.
Yeah.
As a big publisher, it's you gotta at least have some kind of a commitment going
But they're
forward.
not in the
I
position.
don't know.
Ubisoft isn't in the position to do it anymore.
Yeah, you're right. 1.5 billion down, 88% down from what their peak was.
Yeah.
That's they're
They
in
can't.
disaster mode.
They are. Their shares away to, again. They've gotten, lifelines to stay, to keep Yves and the family in charge. It's time that Yves gives it up. He's got to. And again, it's going to be a mess no matter what. When Ubisoft, whatever happens to Ubisoft, right? Unless they find a magic bullet and turn this whole thing around, this is going to be messy for Ubisoft. There's going to be a lot more people laid off, unfortunately, a lot. That company is still over 19,000 strong. Like, people don't understand how big that company is. So it's not going to be pretty, man. And I hate that part of it. I hate that they can't find the wins because I do actually enjoy Ubisoft games still. Like, that's the thing. I'm not on the hate wagon for their games per se. I don't like their decisions, and I certainly don't like all the games that they've put out. But in general, I still enjoy their games, even some of the bastardized games that they have done with Tom Clancy in the past. I have enjoyed, right? It's just I want to see Division 3 come out, and I want to see Division 3 to be the stellar game that it can be. And I'm scared for that IP right now of ever happening with the way Ubisoft is going right now. They're going to have to be very selective. They can't keep throwing darts. They're out of darts at this point. They're going to have to be very selective. So, but for me, selfishly, I want to see certain franchises continue. I want to see them continue Assassin's Creed development, Assassin's Creed. But I'm looking forward to Shadows still. I think it looks fun. The ninja side of things, I've always wanted to play. Not happy with the other stuff that they did, and kind of went behind, kind of tempered my expectations a little bit. But at the same time, I still think that whole area, that whole time frame, and Nawe especially, just her being a ninja, like I've wanted that from Assassin's Creed forever. So I'm still interested in playing that game. But Hex, Assassin's Creed Hex, the next one based around the witch trials at the end of the Roman era, like that one has me super like, okay, let's go. Like a darker, that's going to be one of the smaller experiences again. But are they going to do that, Matt? Are they going to cut back on the Assassin's Creed franchise now? They had massive plans for that, right? They had that whole roadmap. It was very exciting. Are they going to cut back? Are they going to have to start cutting back just because of these failures are costing them massively, and not even a company like Ubisoft is feeling it? I mean, they can't keep doing this. So I am scared. I am worried.
We'll see what happens, man.
Yeah.
Ray Oyd that says they're doing refunds, but I don't know the details. The details are again, if you got the Founders Pack, they're refunding that. They're refunding any transactions within the last 30 days, but anybody that between that, the bulk of people that played, any money they spent is basically gone. So
Marvel
according
Rivals
to the post by Mark Rubin.
Just so everybody knows.
Almost 450. Wow.
Almost 443.
Taking off, man.
Crazy. Oh man. Good conversation, man. Again, it's always hard with Ubisoft, because we could sit here and do a 2-hour, you and I especially could do a 2-hour show on just Ubisoft again. Like we could go back through everything. And again, that's why I appreciated the opening of your Mavcast the other night, where you kind of broke it all down again. We could just do that constantly, because Ubisoft, again,
man. I just
Jesus.
I don't know like what the out is for them at this point. That's the most worrisome thing.
That is big time.
I don't even see the games coming up that are the hype's down on Shadows now.
Yeah, and they changed how they're going to release Shadows. They changed how they're going to do the battle pass. Like they changed everything about that game. So again, where's going to be their savior? That's the question. What are they going to do that's going to turn it around? They don't have anything in the pipeline right now that we can see. We just don't. Skull and Bones, as much as they want to talk that thing up, they've kept it going. It's on life support. Jasper's point of view about For Honor, I don't understand For Honor either. I don't know who's playing For Honor. Like there's games out there that we know that we never talk about, that there's millions of people playing certain games, right? We just know that they exist and nobody talks about them because either they're old or they're just not the thing that everybody talks about.
The only reason I can think is it's profitable for them, probably.
But I don't like, I just looked,
like
man,
how?
just out of curiosity over the past year on Steam. The highest player count in the past year on Steam was 7,920.
Oh wow!
There's 2,800.
Maybe it's just like kind of like a few people working on it. It could be. I don't know, man. Like,
but they do
crazy
big updates. Like they've supported the hell out of that game. That's the thing. Like that's one of the Ubisoft babies that they've done a lot with. Like over the years. Like For Honor's been around for how long now? Like 10 years, 11 years. For Honor's been around for a long ass time. They've done a ton of updates. But it is kind of weird that one continues to push forward again with these kind of numbers. But in the background, are there a couple whales that are buying a bunch of stuff? I have no idea, but it's just weird that one is the one. That they
like they got like those 7,000 players are fucking sharks, man.
right, exactly. And obviously they got more players on console too, but it can't be that many more. It never appears in any of the charts, like ever. Right. So again, you'd expect probably the same kind of player base on console. So
is there a mobile version of it?
I don't know. They've tried mobile versions of every game basically, I think, at this point. How many are still around?
I wonder how many people are playing Skull and Bones also.
No.
And Crew Motorfest. I mean,
Skull and
I'm just curious.
Bones.
Do they have any like massively healthy multiplayer games? You know?
Well, they've got whatchamacallit, obviously. Can't think of it. Come on, man. Rainbow Six.
Oh yeah, that one. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
their big. That's
that's their
their
money
money
maker.
maker right now. Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure. Rainbow Six
yeah,
Siege.
and
Yeah,
they haven't updated that game. I mean, they haven't talked about it. Skull and Bones right now on Steam. F. Take a guess.
183. 183.
What?
Yeah, I just looked it up.
190, 194. 190. Oh, yeah,
Okay.
194. Okay, so you looked it up. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess Steam Charts is the one I'm on.
Well,
Is so it.
and they were trying to convince the peak map on Steam since it launches 1,300 players. Like 1328.
Now, Ubisoft has their own launcher too, though. So I'm wondering.
2,600. Excuse me. Yeah, I mean, yeah, they do.
I'm wondering how
But,
popular it is. Like,
well, come on, we know their launch is not as popular as Steam. There's no way.
yeah.
There's just no way. It doesn't make any sense, man. What was the other one? You said Crew Motorfest? Oh Jesus.
Yeah, Crew Motorfest.
Crew Motorfest has moment. You played
It's a
something.
fun game. Yeah, it's like I mean, I honestly think Skull and Bones is kind of fun. The thing is, like, Ubisoft, like the quality of the games is like pretty good. Like they don't make like janky ass broken shit. You know what I mean? It may not be the most appealing or like exciting things and stuff, but like they usually come out polished and like
decent.
762 current on
1,400 peak in the past 24 hours.
Okay.
I mean, they're not going to, they're going to be making decisions on these games, whether they want to talk them up or not. They got to have to make decisions. So again, Eves has got it's going to be ugly, man. It's not.
I mean, to put it in perspective, like even on just Steam, like where everybody talks about like Halo Infinite is a disaster and stuff. They have like 3,000 current players right now on Steam. Over 3,000. So yeah, I mean that's not amazing or anything like that, but like that's like you add up Skull and Bones, you add up Crew Motorfest, you add up like several other of their games as service games, online multiplayer games, and it's
well, and Xbox. I mean, to your point though, like Halo Infinite, like Xbox has made a decision. They're moving. I mean, Halo Infinite's going to exist, obviously, and they're going to keep
100%.
But they've already decided, like they're redoing Halo, like they're going to UE5, like they're going to reboot the franchise, like they made that decision, right? So, you know, that's the difference. It's not like they're still holding on, like, oh no, it's doing fine, we're doing great, it's great, don't worry, it's fine. No, they've made the decision.
But they're still supporting this,
but they're going to still support it. Correct. Yeah, and again, Ubisoft does support their games for some of their games, right, for a long time, but we've seen, like you said, instances of Xdefiant where it's like, okay, well, yeah, great. So all those people that bought in are just jacked. Again, that is the risk. We all know that is free to play gamers as well. That
talk about the Steam for Rainbow Six Siege is at 53,000 current players.
Right. That's
like really good. Yeah.
If they didn't have that, it'd be over with, right? It's kind of like Square and Final Fantasy 14. If they didn't have that, it'd be over with, right? So that's kind of where they're at.
And their average is 35,000. Like average
for that game, for how old it is. That's great. They found their base, they kept their base, and their base was very strong, right?
So but it's also part of the problem too, because that's what they're trying to do with all their games and all their franchises. They're just trying to well, we need to do this because it's such a hit.
No,
like I don't know. I would like to see a regular Rainbow Six come out at some point too.
Obviously. Give me tactical. Can you imagine tactical co-op nowadays? Oh my god, it'd be so beautiful, bro.
Rainbow Six Vegas 3, dude, or like
planting C4 charges on the doors. Oh my god, man, it'd be so.
That same Rainbow Six community that loves this game, that keeps playing it, would probably go ape shit for an announcement like that too, because they're probably invested in Rainbow Six, so they have chances to capture in capitalize on their excitement, make a single player. They tried the Rainbow Six Extraction, which was like a twist on Rainbow Six, right? But it was they were trying to do the whole thing again, just with a different genre, slightly, you know, instead of PvE instead of PvP. Like, they could try and they'd put aliens in it and stuff, which is fun. We had fun with Rainbow Six
We did
Extraction. I
have
think it's
fun.
solid. Again, just like
It
every
was.
Ubisoft game I play, I'm
Yeah,
like, "Hey,
it's
that's pretty
solid.
good."
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
But they're not coming out with the regular like,
Yes.
Rainbow Six,
Right.
regular, like, Ghost Recon again. Like, like, "Let's go. Splinter Cell, where are you?" Want 'em. Anyway.
I know Ubisoft. Like I said, we can just keep doing this. This is just nuts. Well,
Oh,
Mav.
you wanna get into our year-end reviews?
Yeah, we could do our year in reviews. Absolutely. Why not? We could do that. Um,
You played more than me this year.
I'm very consistent in my hours played every year. Like I always know where I'm going to wind up. This year I do a little bit more math because we'll talk about that here
Yeah.
in a second. So, yeah, for anybody who doesn't know, they put up the link as they are. I love this. They put up the link, and a lot of
Yeah.
places do this. It's not you get your Spotify wrap up, and Steam does one of these as well. And obviously, there's lots of places you can go to True Achievements and get your wrap up of the year. But I love that Xbox does it directly, and obviously Xbox is perfectly set up to do this, and Sony does it too. PlayStation does it too. So the year-end wrap-up did come out. The link was posted. Phil had a nice little thank you for playing with us, as he always wants to do. If you wanted to listen to that, but yeah, Mav and I, not so much PCMRs, not so much PC elitists yet. Let me pull up mine here real quick. Mav, if you got yours, you can pull up yours. So if you guys haven't done this, please feel do it. It is cool as hell. I gotta say, Mav, before we get into our own, it is interesting that every year that this happens, Mav, you see a couple
Yeah.
different things. You see a lot of us, first of all, very happy, very proud to post many different shots of our stats and what we've been playing this year, right? Um, we're we're open, right? We're transparent, as the industry likes to say, with what we do. And again, this year, uh, average for me year on Xbox or just in video games in general is about 12 to 1300 hours, right? Which is freaking usually top 1% or top 5%. That I'm been consistent with that every single time. And obviously, if you do the math, it works out to, I think, like 25 to 30 hours a week, somewhere in that neighborhood. It's like 20, a little over 25, 26 hours a week, which is very good for me, especially having a full time job, all that good stuff. But you do see a couple interesting things happen, Mav,
Yep.
that there's people who like to talk about gaming a lot in this community, a lot, a whole lot of passion. In fact, some of them would be console warriors, right? Rooting for their favorite teams. Funny enough, a lot of people go quiet during this time of the year, Mav. Suddenly they aren't on X posting as much as they normally do during the day
Mhm.
when they see everybody posting their stats. Maybe they just, coincidentally went on vacation for a few days around this time. That does happen too. Just out of town, just didn't have a chance, right? Just whatever. Um, it's also another phenomenon that happens from some pretty big name players out here. They'll post from the end of the year wrap up, but they'll selectively leave out total hours played. They'll selectively leave that out. It's curious, man, how these things happen this time of the year. But not Mav and I. Mav and I posted this year. Mav, why don't you run down your stats and what you found interesting out of your
Yeah.
stats this year? Yeah.
Well, I just
Yeah.
in comparison, like,
Yeah.
between Xbox and PC and
Yeah.
everything, last year is almost half in Xbox and PC as opposed to what it was last year, which, I is mostly just because I haven't had as much time, right? But I've also part of it is I've been playing more, on, Steam, so there's, like I try to add it up, and I got, like, 150 hours maybe on Steam this year, right? In games that I've played on Steam. Um, I also had played some on Switch. I played a little bit on PlayStation earlier this year. I was playing a lot of GT7 earlier this year. Um, and also have been doing like Steam Link on my so I'm not sure how all the tallies get up. So about 150 hours on Steam or so. Totally on Xbox. Let's see, because I was looking at my 2023s because I just found them. Um, let's see, I had oh man, I just realized I shared so many other people's that
I know, I
I'm
did that
having
too.
trouble finding my own. Okay, here we go. Yeah, so all in all, I had almost 600 hours, I think it was. Let's
Mhm.
see, it was 579
Okay.
hours on Xbox and PC. That was let's see, 103 games played.
Yep.
So I grazed a lot out of
Which you
those
and I
hours,
always do.
which is another interesting thing that I found is like comparatively to last year, I played more like of certain games a lot longer, right?
Mm.
Last year I played I had let's see, I have it right here. Last year I had 352 hours in Diablo 4 alone, right? And last year I had 147 hours in Starfield.
Right.
And I also had 111 hours in MLB The Show.
Jesus.
So, yeah, out of my last year, I put in over 100 hours in 3 different games.
Right.
And one of them was 352. So, out of my last year, I had a total of 1,192 hours played
Mm.
and 120 games played. Roughly about the same amount of games, like 120 compared to 103, right? It's not
Right.
too drastic. And I would say actually I played more games on Steam this year that actually kind of made up that difference probably also more because I before this year, like I got my PC last year, right?
Right.
So last year for my PC was pretty much just Starfield. This year I've been dabbling in a bunch of different things. So it's just kind of interesting to see the difference, and I think the difference is the kind of games that launch for the most part.
Mm.
I
Mhm.
didn't have it, like, get sucked into any one game for, like, 200, 300 hours this year. You
Right.
know what I mean? In any long stretch period of time, which I did last year, Diablo 4 and Starfield,
Yes.
right?
Those are my 2
And
last
then
year as well. Yep.
MLB The Show was one I just kept kinda coming back to off and on, you know what I mean? That game for me this year was Fortnite, apparently, because I had 100 hours in Fortnite, which I didn't even realize I put anywhere near close to 100
You
hours in Fortnite.
you never realize how much time you actually put in Fortnite. It's pretty
I
crazy.
know. So Fortnite end up surprisingly was for me is my top played game this year. It says I have exactly 100 hours played, out of 579 hours. But then I was, let's see, cloud. I put 10 hours into the cloud. That doesn't count for console streaming, which I've been doing a lot of console streaming this year.
Mhm.
And it's on Xbox ecosystem, 467 hours on console and 103 on PC.
Nice.
So that's 85% console roughly,
Mhm. Mhm.
comparatively to PC. Now, if you add in the 150 on Steam, then you're looking at closer to 60, 40, 65, 35, something like that. Probably
Yep.
console to PC, which what did I say is probably about what it seemed like to me. My top 3 games, Pong, were Fortnite, and then let's see, what was the number 2? Okay, Fortnite, and then oh, jeez, did I not share my number 2 and
Ooh,
3?
Fuzzy,
It
congratulations.
was Madden, and it was Madden or wait, no, it was EA
College?
College Football.
College? Yep.
Where was my number 2? I forgot to share my number 2.
Huh.
Oh, wait, no, I did. I know I shared it. I have it on my phone. Hold on. I'll tell you what my number 2 was. I know I'm all over the place.
Yeah, no, that's fine.
Oh,
Congratulations,
Call of
Fuzzy to
Duty.
me. Call of Duty was number 2. Yeah, of course,
Yeah,
that makes sense.
Call of Duty number 2, and then College Football 25 number 3. And
Okay.
then Diablo was number 4.
Okay.
Madden was number 5. Balatro number 6. Unicorn Overlord 7. So you got Ara History Untold, Starfield, Forza. Stalker was already up there, number 12, and Flight Sim was number 13. Um, Tekken 8, Star Wars Outlaws up there. So mix of genres and varieties. but there wasn't that one game that I just like got lost in this year. Which doesn't mean it's bad years for gaming. It's just more so that I spent like a lot of games. I noticed I spent like 2 hours, 3 hours, 1 hour, 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, eight
Yeah,
hours. Is more of that kind of year.
that's what grazers do, Mav.
Yeah.
That's what we do as grazers, right? So again, we do have our years, like you said last year. Both, I think I was like Diablo and Starfield was exactly the same amount. I think I had 300 each last year. Shout out to Fuzzy Tomato, by the way, in chat. Cyberpunk and Starfield both over 600 hours this year.
Yeah.
Jesus,
Crazy,
that's
bro.
a lot of time. Some people out in this community, holy shit, man. I wish I had your time. Like 2,000 some hours gaming. Yo, God, I would love that, man. That is absolutely incredible. That's like 40-hour work weeks. Like that is nuts, man. I love that. I wish I was able to do that. So for me, Mav, yeah, nothing surprising here. And I knew because I actually did have some big games that I did play on my PC this year as well that took away time. So I was kind of assuming this was going to happen.
Hmm.
So Dragon's Dogma 2, obviously
Yep.
113 hours on Steam, right? I bought that on Steam, played the shit out of that on Steam, right? First Descendant, played it both on PC and on console, but First Descendant on PC more so 77 hours total. I think I've got like 115 hours between PC and console, right? So another 100-hour
Hmm.
game for me. I had a lot of those this year. Ghost of Tsushima, director's cut, Steam, right? 50 hours in that, right? So Helldivers, Steam. So, 40,
Yeah.
40 hours and 35 hours
Yeah.
in that,
I
right?
have I have like a lot of the same games, just not as quite as much time. Like I had
Right.
18 hours in Helldivers.
Right.
And then I think Dragon's Dogma had 43 hours
Mm-hmm.
in that. Suicide Squad, I had 12 hours on Steam, but I also had like probably like
Yeah. I had
close to the same amount
37
on
hours.
Xbox
Yeah.
also.
I had 37 hours
Right.
in Suicide Squad. So, yep. So I knew this was going to happen. So, anyways, my Steam numbers right around 400, a little bit over
Mhm.
400 total between everything. And again, I got a lot of games in there that I played, like Mav said, for 4 hours, 5 hours, 6 hours, 2 hours, 7 hours. I'm grazing, right? I'd like to see how many total games I played this year on Steam. I will be able to check that out. But on Xbox, that means I wound up, and of course, I've got time on the PC side as well, obviously elsewhere, because I do play on GOG a little bit here and there. Obviously, played a few hours there. So, but just we'll roughly say 400 and some hours on PC, 827 total hours over on the Xbox side of things between PC and Xbox. My breakdown was 41 hours on PC and 786 hours on console. So, again, as I told you all, I'm still a console dude, right? That was the funny part. So, obviously 827, 786 hours versus 400 some hours. I'm still almost double on the console, right? That's how I still roll. That's why I'm still always saying that I'm a console player, like, because that's what I like to prefer. For me, kind of surprising for me because I actually thought one of the other ones would take it out, but then I thought about where I was playing. I'm like, oh, I guess not. But I still put it in, and especially over the past couple months since I popped back into it, 143 hours in Diablo this year. So again, I told you all I finished at 500 hours by the time I finished Vessel of Hatred total on Diablo. So 143 hours this year more on Diablo was my top game there. And then Call of Duty, number two. Number two, back in the swing of things. Like, I did not think this, but here I am. So Call of Duty number two, 85 hours there. And then my number three, Mav, and you'll be happy to hear this, so it's Age of Empires 4, Anniversary Edition, 63 hours in Age of Empires 4. So I was rocking and rolling on Age of Empires 4 early in the year.
Mhm.
Had a lot of fun with that game. And then just to pick up some of my other ones here, let's see, where were we? There we go. Let's go here. So, if you guys listen to our shows, you'll recognize some of these. But Age of Mythology found up number 4, Mav, on my list this
Nice.
year. Yep, First Descendant
And
on.
it's rising
Yep,
still.
it's rising. It is rising.
Yep.
Absolutely. First Descendant number 5 on console. Brotato Number 6. If you guys have been listening to the shows, you know I've been telling you, bro, Tato. Number 7 was Vampire Survivors. I was playing a lot of that in the beginning of the year. Number 8, Warhammer 40K Inquisitor Martyr Ultimate Edition. Number 9 was Aura. Very nice. Number 9 was Aura. Number 10, surprisingly, I'll just keep it in top 10. Number 10 was Saints Row. You guys remember when I picked up Saints Row for nothing? Like it was like $20 for the big edition. And I told you guys I was playing the hell out of that game. Again, it wasn't Saints Row. It was just a fun open world generic action game. But that wound up number 10. Number 11 was Pal World. Number 12 actually was Gears of War Judgment because I went back and replayed that through.
Yeah.
Stalker 2 is already number 13 for me this year. I got so, which is crazy. So yeah, I wasn't overly surprised. I knew PC had cut into my console hours again, but I still came out 1,300 hours for the year. Like Mr. Consistency. Again, it just never changed. Like things in my life change. And like there's all sorts of things that I'll go through different times during the year where it's either more or less, but I always wind up averaging right around 1,200, 1,300 games. I played a total of 118 different games, 117, I think, 117 different games, Mav. So again, grazing like a mofo. That's what I do. So
it's funny. We played about the same amount of games.
We do that every year too.
Yeah.
Really.
Yeah. You had more time in this year. Like part of it too is like for me is like sometimes I'll really get sucked into certain games and like that's just what I do. Like when I sit down and stuff. But like if that doesn't exist, which this year it didn't for me as much, right? I kind of like had fun with my games, right? But I was like, okay, I want to try something else and play something else. But like also just like I think this year, just the channel and everything doing all the different stuff that we're doing, all the shows and stuff, I started to get more tired. I'm just being real. Like sometimes like at night and stuff when I would normally just be gaming and stuff, I'm just like it's just like I play, I'll play and then like I'll stop playing like after like 30 minutes or like after an hour where I'd normally sit there and play for like 2 or 3. You know what I mean? And it's just like sometimes it's just fucking exhausting. And this year, honestly, more so than anything, that's probably been a thing that's caused me to play less this year than last. But that's also why I've also done more of the other stuff, like the console streaming and all those other kind of things. Because while we're chilling in bed, relaxing, that's when I'll kind of like play Balatro or like, which man, like I'll tell you, Balatro should be my number 1 most played game.
That's crazy. It's not. What number was it?
It was like number 6, but I'll tell you why. Is because I've played that on multiple. I had it on multiple platforms. Like when I still had my Switch, I was playing a lot on the Switch because it was perfect for the Switch, right? It's just like it's like, hey, I have this Switch I'm never using. I might as well use it for this because it's built for it, right?
Yeah, right.
So I played a shit ton there. I played a shit ton of Balatro on the console streaming, and I also played a shit ton on Steam because they had it on Steam Link, and it was a good way to do on the when they had the Steam Deck. So anyway,
makes sense. It makes sense. I would love to have seen your total hours of Balatro had you actually done.
Yeah, it's spread apart over numerous things, but that is my number 1 game this year.
You might have been over, you might have been over 200 in that. What do you think?
Probably so.
Probably, yeah.
Because I played it in bed just for hours and hours and hours and hours, like every night for like a month or 2, you know. And then I still will pop it in and play it occasionally here and there, you know. But yeah, it was an amazing game. So I was surprised also because I was like, oh, I must have like split more of my time on Balatro between other places.
Yeah, you had to. I mean, that makes total sense, obviously. So, good stuff. I've seen lots of good stuff in here. Ray Oid says 1,200 plus hours total, played 64 games. Ray, nice work. 1,200 hours and 64. See, you were more concentrated than me and Matt. But I love that. That's nice. Those are nice numbers right there. Psychonauts, brother Psychonauts said I had over 1,300 hours played and Unicorn Overlord was number 1. Yeah, that looked pretty. I give you props all the time, Psycho, as being the true JRPG player out of our group now. Both Mav and I obviously had played plenty of JRPGs in our time, but man, you just, man, 1,000 out of 1,000
Yeah.
score like that. It's just so cool to see, man. Unicorn Overload, nice work, Psychonauts. Love to see it, man. Yeah, and you played 98 games, and number 2 was Visions of Mana. Yeah, you are,
Yeah.
man. That's crazy.
Yeah, he's kind of like the gamer I wish I was. Actually finishing all those big ass JRPGs,
Bro,
which
there's just
I'll
too
put
many
in like
games.
20, 30 hours into it. And I'm like, I can't.
I wish I was that type of player too, but I just got to be. I'm always real with myself. Like I would love to just sit there and do it, but I
Yeah.
can't, man. I just have too many interests. I see something and I'm like, I want to play that. I want to play that.
I was just talking out of my ass, Pawn, because I just looked. I don't even own Blatcher on Steam, so I
Oh, you
didn't
don't?
play it on
Oh,
on Steam Deck or
so you're just
Steam Link.
lying.
It was yeah. Well, I thought I did, but it was either the console streaming or on the
Yeah.
Switch.
On the Switch. Okay, makes
The only
sense.
2 places. Or is it on mobile?
Yeah, it's on
I don't know
mobile.
if I played it on mobile or not. I
It's
mean,
on
I just know
mobile.
I played it a lot.
Yeah.
So I was surprised it wasn't higher. Like weird.
But again, when it breaks down that way,
Yeah.
that totally makes sense. Again, that's going to become more and more the norm. Like playing
Mhm.
multiple places, it's not always going to be like that. Fuzzy Tomato also had 125 hours in Dragon Age Veilguard. Holy shit, bro! You definitely putting work into a few games, man. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, I love the idea of this. I always love to see it. It's really cool to get a cut. Again, it's interesting. Take a look at the people that don't post the stats. I just think it's funny, bro. Especially the people who are extremely vocal, extremely, whether they have podcasts or they're just out here bullshitting all the damn time about every single game or whatever the case. Like, just really curious how they disappear or just don't say much during this time of the year. Anyways,
You know, the other thing you just mentioned about playing at different places and stuff too, because like I wasn't even thinking like Star Wars Outlaws and stuff. I put hours into that, like on the Ubisoft launcher,
right.
right?
Yeah.
Same with some of the other Ubisoft games
Mhm.
too. So like it's really not, and this is kind of the way things are going. Like I'm not. It's primarily Xbox console, like
Yes.
as the numbers that are out there you can see, but the PC usage is still going up on there. It's like at
Yes.
it was about 100 to 500 roughly,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
But then also the Steam and then all random stuff and then the other places to play. Um, it's gonna it's gonna keep that's gonna keep evolving, you know, as we go forward. It's gonna be interesting how everybody's habits change more so than anything this year.
Yeah.
My gaming habits changed with how and where I play my game.
Correct. And it is going to continue to evolve. It really
Mhm.
is. So, and I know next year I'll probably be even a little bit more PC. Like I just know that's going to be kind of the case.
Well, because the games that are coming
Yes.
out, you want to get the best experience.
Well,
And
and the minimum specs are going up and up
up and up and up
and
and
up.
up.
It's
Yep.
crazy now. Right now, some of the releases that we're seeing,
Yeah.
like, yo,
Oop.
did you happen to
It's just,
look?
yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
No,
No,
no.
you go ahead. You go
Uh,
ahead. You
I was
go
going to say,
ahead.
did you look down at the bottom? Did you see? Now, this is screwed up for, I think both of us, this will be screwed up for because our 360 era time frame, we used multiple names for different, we used multiple
Yeah.
accounts for multi. But, anyways, did you scroll down and see that they have lifetime minutes played?
No.
Yes. So if you pull it up, they got lifetime minutes played.
Yeah.
Again, this won't be accurate because me and a lot of people during the 360 era, we had multiple accounts.
Yeah.
Nobody really gave a shit about that because for different varying reasons, obviously. But I've got 239,000 minutes lifetime on Xbox.
I need to go and look at that. I
And
didn't
that's
even.
low. Yeah. It's pretty crazy, man. I was like, holy, I figured it's almost a full year. And I, like I said,
Where do you see that? Is it like all the way
if
at the
you
bottom?
when you load in, when you're scrolling down, if
Uh-huh.
you go down underneath your your other favorites, and then it has like top games played with friends, and then it's got Phil's thank you, and then you
Uh-huh.
go down and it says more games and more stats. It's your year with Game Pass, and you scroll down and it's got there. So maybe that's just Game Pass. Well, it would be because that's when they would start keeping track of it. So during the 360 generation, right underneath more games and more stats, it's your year with Game Pass, and it says number one top played Game Pass game, Diablo 4, 88 hours, and then down below that it has months subscribed, total minutes played, and games
Okay.
played, and they break it down for the year, and then they also have another circle with the lifetime.
Okay, so this is just for Game Pass,
Yeah,
right?
but which would
Okay,
have started during 360. So
right, 135K minutes lifetime.
okay. But again, we both use multiple accounts. So
Well, but they didn't have Game Pass in the 360 era, right?
oh, you're right. You
Yeah,
wouldn't have that game.
yeah,
I
so
was, I was
this
thinking
is
Xbox
just
Live.
since
I was thinking that they would put
yeah,
Xbox Live in here.
this is just since 2017, 2016?
You're
Or
right.
yeah,
I
yeah,
was thinking Xbox. I
yeah,
was thinking Xbox Live. That makes Game Pass.
yeah. It says months subscribed 92. So
Okay.
that's, 8 years, roughly,
Yeah,
right?
mine's 75 because I didn't start when I didn't have Xbox when Game Pass started last
Right.
generation. So okay, this makes more
And
sense.
then
Okay,
what's your
I was
games played lifetime?
645.
On Game Pass?
Yeah.
Wow, mine's 380. So,
Yeah.
like, you outgrazed me, Pong.
Bro, I'm a professional grazer, bro. I'm a
Yeah.
professional grazer. I see again, this is why I can't stay on one game. This is why I have hard. This is why when I say I beat a game, it's generally speaking because I co-opt it with Steel or you or the fam or whatever. I just don't stay with games because I'm a squirrel. I'm like, oh, look over here. Let me go try that. Let me go try this. Let me go try that. Let me go try this. Right. So that's who I am, man. I enjoy it. Time is it? 8:53. Mavo, you on time?
Yeah, we're good.
You good? Okay. What do you want to talk about? You want to talk? I mean, we've got a couple more topics. I don't know what you're interested in getting to. We got the Sean Layden interview. We've got this, we got the Sarah Bond stuff coming out. If you want to touch on that, we've got Starborn from ZeniMax. We've got, trying to think what else we got in here.
I'm trying to pick and choose. What's
I know.
interesting? We got the Game Awards next week.
Yeah, next week is going to be the Game Awards. Again,
Yeah.
I'm only hyped for the new announcements. It sounds like there's going to be a lot of cool shit there, right?
I have one
like
question.
Yeah,
Do you think we see Doom the Dark Ages at the Game Awards?
No,
No?
because I don't think it. No, that'll be saved for a direct next year. If it launches before, if it's going to launch prior to obviously Xbox's June showcase, then they do it in a direct early in the year. If it's not until after the showcase, then they might even hold it until the showcase and do a final trailer at the showcase.
Right.
I don't think they'll give it to the Game Awards. We know for a fact that Xbox is going to be there this year and they're going to have surprises. So I think it's going to be pretty big. And I think we might get more surprises. We did get a hint today, potentially that Borderlands 4 new trailer is going to be shown. Because of course, Crazy Randy can't hold his secrets like me. Like he's the way I would be if I ran a studio. So he came out today and said he's super excited about he's always super excited. So whatever, it's Randy. But again, Borderlands for me, I'll buy into his hype because I love Borderlands. So I was excited to see that he was excited about the trailer today. So that'll probably be at the TGAs. We're gonna get a lot of cool things at the TGAs.
Oh, yes. Speaking of, you just reminded me of something because you brought up Borderlands 4.
Yeah.
Which so you know how Xbox did the whole like there's 50 games now that if you own them you can play them on your via the cloud, right?
Yes.
So I've been, like I said, I've been doing a lot of console streaming on my tablet. So I have a Samsung OLED tablet Galaxy Tab thing that I use for console streaming all the time, right? And I set it on a pillow in front of me in bed or watch movies at night, and I'll play whatever, Balatro, or I was playing Stalker 2 last night for a little while, like NBA or random stuff just all the time. But I hadn't really dabbled into the new, cloud gaming, play the games you own thing that they had announced yet, because I don't have a lot of them that were in the list that I actually owned, right? So, but I went and looked at the list last night just to want to test it out and
Yeah.
see how it works because you got to go to the web version, right? In order to do that right now, on the until this whole other shenanigans get fixed. But I launched it with the Edge browser, so I installed the Edge browser on my tablet. Um, I went to the xbox.com/play, right?
Yep. Yep.
And then I saw the list of games. So I was looking at the list of games and I was like, which ones would be the best to try? So I picked NBA 2K25 because, you know, that's a game where latency is kind of important with your shot
Obviously.
stick,
Yeah. Yeah.
right? And I launched it. Went up and booted up into the full screen mode with a controller. It looked like I was doing console streaming or Game Pass app or whatever. But bro, I don't know if they did some kind of major update or if it's
Yeah. You're
different for the
talking about
games
this,
you
bro.
own or what. But my image quality and latency was like insanely good. And this is also via the web version. So I'm not console streaming within my own house. So this is accessing the actual like cloud servers and all that kind of stuff, right? But my image quality was like fantastic. There was none of the, like the pixelation or no tearing or any of that. It was like crystal clear, bro. And I was playing and like the shot stick, there was like no latency. It was better than my console streaming. It was better than the console streaming because I played a lot of NBA 2K25 this year console streaming in bed at night and stuff. I played some my team and did different stuff. But I was like, wow, that was crazy impressive. So I was like, is it because like 2K like made them like sign into contracts where they have more like server capacity or something? I don't know. I was like, what is why is this game performing this much better in the cloud than even my own console streaming? How is it looking this good? How is it playing this good? How is it like I'm telling you, I played a full game, Mavericks versus Trailblazers, like four quarters and stuff, like for the full presentation and everything, right? And not what like there was no pixelating or anything. The resolution was super high quality. I was pretty fucking mind blown. And so after that, after I finished that game, I was like, I got to try another game just to see if this is like a fluke, right? So I booted up a graphically demanding, impressive looking game, Cyberpunk 2077, which was another one that I owned that was on that list. And I booted it up and I'm like, holy shit. Because I had also recently played Cyberpunk console streaming on the same tablet, doing the same thing, and it looked way better. I was kind of mind blown last night, and I don't know what if it was if there's some update because of the game ownership thing, if it's using different stuff or there's more resources. I have no idea. But the web version of the Edge browser, using it that way, accessing those games, it was fucking amazing. Like it really was. It was about almost as good as doing the Steam Link, which you can do like 4K quality in Steam Link. I'm not saying that the images I saw were 4K whatsoever. I don't know what they were, but as far as clarity on my screen, it was crazy impressive. So anyway, the reason I said about Borderlands 4 because I noticed several of the games on there were Ubisoft games. I noticed several of them were 2K games that were there as part of the first 50. So I'm wondering if like, you know, the big publishers are going to be some of the ones that are going to be more on board with their new games going into this. Square Enix also had all those Final Fantasy games in that list as well. So I think Borderlands 4 would be likely to be a game that would be available that way when it launches.
The more the merrier. And especially if you're talking about this becoming a high quality feature, a higher quality feature where it is, you know, closer to the, hardware experience. And from what you're saying, Matt, that's crazy. Like, again, I don't, obviously I haven't tried it yet,
I would, yeah,
but
I would never have a problem playing NBA 2K25 that way. Now I wasn't playing online,
right,
right?
right, 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 right.
But
Obviously.
even so, latency for a shot meter, you know what I mean, like on a shot stick
I'll be right
would
back, dude.
would
I'm so sorry.
yeah, no worries, man. It would be noticeable, because it's noticeable when I console stream slightly. It's pretty good, but to see where it came from before, because I played NBA games in Game Pass via the cloud. I've played tons of different games in the cloud over the last few years, but I was just really impressed overall. While Pong's gonna get to his super chat as well from none other than Alvin himself with the $5 says Cocaine Randy ran a line and spilled the beans on a Borderlands 4 trailer. Randy Al Gaib. Randy can't help it, man. Randy can't help it. Randy is Randy, and he is a character. So I don't know, but I will tell you, I'm looking forward to Borderlands 4. A lot of people didn't like Borderlands 3 as much as the other Borderlands, but I love Borderlands 3. I thought it was an excellent game. So Borderlands 4, I'm super hyped for. But I'm curious how these games, if they keep improving upon that. I see the comment from Michael Rotondo Isatukan, if that's the way you say it. Appreciate you being here. So stop being apologists for awful cloud gaming. Thanks. How am I apologizing for anything? I'm just talking about my experience. Um, if you don't have the same experience, maybe that's on you. Maybe it's my internet. I'm not sure, right? But overall, all I can speak to is my experience, and what I'm telling you is last night was better playing that way than I've experienced with cloud gaming with Xbox ever before because it was super smooth. It was insanely good. Yeah, cloud gaming is sometimes I get pixelation, sometimes I get a more latency and different with different games, and it's been that way. It's been tolerable at times, not the best experience. But with the actual what I was playing last night, what I'm telling you, and you can believe me if you want to or not, Michael, um, was absolutely crazy. So I don't know what why. Maybe just my internet was like ultra super internet last night or whatever, but it was via the Edge browser on my tablet, accessing the play the games you own section. That's how I played them. So anyway, it makes what I'll tell you is that experience I had last night made me a hell of a lot more excited for the whatever other games they add to this. Because if that's the quality I'm gonna get, is what I experienced last night, I have no problem playing games that way whatsoever.
I
It's
can't believe
great.
somebody's upset that you're talking about your cloud experience. Like this is
Hey, it's okay. I'm apologizing for Xbox. Apparently, like it
no,
is
you're
what it is.
apologizing for cloud gaming in general. Like I understand people are upset that like tech's moving forward and that things are changing. Like I get it. I'm an old guy. I don't like everything that changes either. But again, if you have a great experience, why would anybody be upset that you had a great experience? The only reason why you're bringing it up is because it was kind of surprising to you that you had such a great experience,
Oh,
which
it was. It
again
was like
is yeah. So that's like, but what I'm saying is the only reason why that's you're saying something is because you were kind of surprised, which means that obviously, generally speaking, we still expect cloud gaming to not be the greatest. Like
right.
that hardware is still the main way to play games. So it's not like we're sitting here saying, "Oh, just stop making hardware. It sounds great, Mav. You had one
Right.
great night of cloud gaming. Guess what, everybody? You don't need the hardware anymore. We're just all going to flip over to cloud gaming now." No, no. But these companies aren't going to stop moving forward. Again, you have to make a
Technology,
choice.
man.
It's
Moving.
technology. If at some point this hobby does something that you no longer can support for whatever your own personal reason is, that is perfectly fine and normal. You are going to have to move on from the hobby if it ever gets to that point, right? Everybody's going to have something that they say, nope, not going to do it. That's your choice. That's your choice, right? But not everybody's going to be the same as you. That's the way it is with everything. Like, I don't support Star Wars anymore because it's not my Star Wars anymore, right? But again, I don't go into people's chats that are talking about Star Wars movies and go, why are you guys apologizing for Star Wars these days? Like, no, I moved on. Okay. I had to go find other shit. So, but these companies aren't going to stop. Tech isn't going to stop moving forward. Again, the hardware is still a necessity. Cloud gaming is not going to take over in any foreseeable future.
Yeah.
It is going to be an addition to and give you the option to play when you're in those moments that you just don't have access to your hardware. So for that case, I'm all for it. The more places I can access my game library, which is what Xbox is now trying to do, your purchased library, I'm all for that. And like we've talked about time and time again here and elsewhere, the more games that they get Play Anywhere involved in, where I get not just one license, but I get multiple licenses off of one purchase, which nobody else is offering right now, I'm all for that too.
Yeah.
That's a freaking great ass value to me.
That's
a great ass value. So
every game I own,
yes,
to be available everywhere.
Right.
That would be fucking incredible.
Right.
Why wouldn't I want that? You know what I mean? As speaking to myself as a consumer.
Yeah.
So this, I guess, kind of takes us to Sarah Bond's thing, right?
Yeah. Correct. Yeah, we might as well transition into Sarah Bond's thing. Right.
So there was a Sarah Bond. Was it an interview with Tom Warren, or was it just an opinion piece from him?
I think
I wasn't able to read.
No, exactly. It was supposedly. Again, I can't read it either because it's behind a paywall. So all we've gotten is a couple of the people that have kind of given us glimpses of what it is that he's saying.
I think most people are reacting to the headline.
The headline is what it is, and I think it was more of an inside kind of piece of what's going on internally right now. It wasn't necessarily an interview, but it's what's happening internally. He's pulling that out of there. That this is, again, go. I mean, if you want to carry it.
Yeah, it was basically he was like saying that Sarah Bond is staking her career on Xbox,
professional reputation.
her professional reputation on Xbox everywhere. It's pretty much the gist of it, right?
She's the one driving it, is what he was getting at. She's the one driving the Xbox everywhere in her new role as the head of Xbox. Obviously, Phil is the Microsoft gaming CEO, but she's now the head of Xbox. Tom is saying that this is her push, that she is pushing to put Xbox everywhere. And she is staking her professional reputation on the line, because if you guys don't know, she came from T-Mobile. She was big shot at T-Mobile before Xbox brought her on, right? So she came from the cell phone side of things. Obviously, that's where her experience was. Obviously, Microsoft and Xbox have big plans in the mobile division as well. So she brought that experience over. And now she is making this push to put the games everywhere. So this is her idea, is what Tom was getting down to. So, again, for me, nothing changes. Like, I don't know why people are freaking out about this. There's lots of weird conversations going around it.
There's a bunch of shit.
There's a bunch of just, again, I can do it here. It's just weird conversations. That basically, there's people trying to claim that Microsoft is going to make her the fall person because of the color of her skin and her gender. Sarah Bond is an exceptional human being who has obviously risen to the top ranks in now multiple companies, big giant corporations. I don't think she's a patsy for anybody. I don't think she would allow herself to be put in that position by anybody. She doesn't seem like the type of person who would
somebody that's got some real, greatness behind her already.
Correct.
I
think that takes away from who she is and her accomplishments in her professional career. I don't get that side of the conversation at all. And it's just dumb to me. So again, everybody's entitled to their opinions, but just from the outside looking in, like everybody else is, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I think that Sarah certainly could be behind this push. And again, we've talked about it here. I think the money people, the money men in the room certainly got in the room, got their voices heard. And obviously the Xbox Anywhere is a great proposition for the shareholders. and for the money men at the top, because the more places you do put your stuff, yeah, you can make money as a publisher. You can make your big money as a third party publisher,
Yeah.
especially when you own as much IP as Xbox does. We've been through that. So would it be surprising to me that Sarah, with her background in mobile, with her obviously and other people within Xbox seeing the future, that they, again, it wasn't her idea, 2 billion, 3 billion people. That was a Phil thing. That was a Satya thing. Going after 2 billion, 3 billion people, that started before Sarah was in her current role. So they were already looking to the future. So why would Sarah not be bought into that future? She obviously shares that. And she sees where tech is going, and she sees what Microsoft has as far as the advantages go with cloud and all that kind of stuff, the infrastructure that they've been setting up for years and years and decades now at this point. She sees all the advantages. So yeah, it does make sense to me that she would be pushing this and that she would be staking her reputation on it. Yeah, because she's saying, I understand this space. I've been in cell phones. Now I've been here for long enough. I understand where we're going. So yeah, I'm going to push this new narrative forward. And this is her baby in some ways, maybe. Maybe it's her, maybe she took on the marketing side. Maybe she introduced the idea of Xbox or anywhere, or that this is Xbox, right? Maybe she was a big part of that idea think tank that came up with this is an Xbox, right? So I have zero problems with this. It doesn't change anything to me. If she is the face of this, then she is the face of this, right? Phil was the face of Game Pass. A lot of people say that Game Pass isn't successful, right? A lot of people claim that that never turned out to be what Phil envisioned it to be, right? There's a discussion to be had there. Phil took that on. That became Phil's baby, right? It was more people than just him, but obviously he was the face of the team. Sarah is now the face of the team. She's the quarterback of the Xbox team. You get, as the quarterback, praise for when the team succeeds, and you get boos when the team fails, even though it's not all your fault, even though it's not just a one person team. That's the responsibility you take on when you take on a lead role. And Sarah's now at the head of Xbox. So, again, I don't know, Mav, what you got, what your side of things looking at this, if Sarah is the driver of this Xbox anywhere, if she's the driver of this as an Xbox marketing, whatever the case may be, she's the driver of the vision. To me, it makes sense she is, because she's the head of Xbox.
Right.
Right.
It's
Right.
almost like people are looking for somebody to blame,
Right.
right? From the community perspective,
Right.
not from the Microsoft Xbox perspective, because right now for them, I think things are moving in the right direction, right? I mean, Call of Duty just launched with massive success and played tons of places everywhere. Stalker 2 had great numbers for Game Pass as well. Now you have another great game coming out today, like Indiana Jones. Um, but it's still the core Xbox console enthusiasts, a lot of them, people that have staked their identity around the console war, are still upset. And it's like, oh, it was her. You know what I mean? So, like, it's just weird energy. Like, at the end of the day, it's still Xbox,
Mhm.
right? No matter who it is that's driving certain decisions, they're put in that place, and Phil's still there as well, right? Phil is still, and if last I checked, she's still, even though she's in charge of Xbox and platforms and all that stuff, like Phil's still the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, right? So, and then also you have all the money guys, and you have Satya and all these other kind of things. Like, this is, at the end of the day, it's it's a whole team that is doing these things, whether it's discussions, maybe she's the person that's been driving for it, and maybe she's right.
Mhm.
A time will tell at the end of the day what's going to be the most successful thing for the brand and for the company and for us and for the games that we get. Uh, as somebody that doesn't necessarily care too much about exclusivity or having to stake, um, like, I want this to win the war kind of thing of plastic boxes. I care more mostly about my experience. So when I see another article come out about Xbox everywhere or whatever, and I see Sarah Bond is the driving force behind it, I say, awesome, keep going, because you're giving me more ways to play my game,
Mhm.
right? And keep doing what you're doing, because I just talked about the experience that I had last night, right? That's something that's a part of this. That's something that's going to keep growing as a part of this. I look to every game that I purchase, every game that I own. What is the future of that game? What is my future access to that game? If they have an ecosystem that is spread around all these different devices and you can access your game everywhere you want to go and all this other kind of stuff, hey, for me that's a positive because I have more faith that that game is going to be there for me in the future, even if hardware and long term down the line ceases to be relevant. Um, I think it's very forward thinking, and the other part that I see people talking about, but yeah, this is bad for bringing games to Xbox, third parties, and all these other kind of things and stuff. And I just again look at it like, well, if you're a third party publisher or company, and you're looking at, well, what should we put our games in that ecosystem? Well, okay, right now they have 30 million consoles, whatever they're at. But what if we can actually reach more than that? And we can actually reach this whole other couple 100 million people that have a chance to buy the game? That adds a lot of value to anybody looking to put a game in an ecosystem, right? You're looking at potential of if this Google thing happens, right? How many Google users are there that play games? Or Android, I mean, how many Android users are there that play games?
Mhm.
Tons and tons of them, right? So like all those people are potential, not saying everyone's gonna obviously be one, but
Right.
all these people are potential customers now. That is value added to the proposition you have of put your game over here. Do the consoles still need to exist? Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, and it's just as it's another day, same story, more negativity and people looking to be angry about Xbox's direction of making the console not the core like number one ultimate thing anymore, driving past everything else and looking beyond that, right?
Yeah.
Like, and that's fine if people want to be upset about it. Ultimately, you can make an argument either way on if it's the right direction for the business, and we could have discussions on that kind of stuff.
We
Sarah
did.
Bond, obviously, yeah, 100%. We've got a lot of those. Um,
Yeah.
and obviously, if she is the one driving this, she believes in this other thing, and that's the direction they're obviously chosen to go. So, I'm gonna say, "Hey, cool. Let's give me access to my games in more places," and I'm just gonna be
Yeah.
happy with that, and not get upset every single time anybody brings up something about it and some kind of really irrelevant piece of information that doesn't really matter at the end of the day to try and be angry again at somebody for this. Doesn't make sense to me.
But and at the same time, I understand. I'm all for people that want to have actual discussions. Again, saying this is fucking stupid or this sucks is not having a discussion. It's not
Right.
explaining your point of view, right? It's not doing anything constructive. I'm all for even when I say, because you guys know, again, I see your comments in the chat too. And again, brother, on if I'm speaking for myself, that every single time I don't agree with the direction either. I would be playing
Yeah.
the old game. I would be battling this shit out one on one versus Sony while trying to do this other stuff, but I would still be trying to demolish Sony, okay? PlayStation as a competitor, right? Not take them completely out of the game per se, but as a competitor, I would be trying to grab market share in the console space, right? I'd still be fighting. I wouldn't be out here waving the white flag. So I totally get that. And as much as I say these companies aren't going to change, and it's the truth, like it's not, it doesn't matter if everybody picked up and sold off their Xboxes, that all of a sudden Microsoft and Xbox be like, oh, we made a mistake. We're going back to focusing on the consoles and we're going to reverse our decisions and we'll be competing with PlayStation. No, what they would do is be like, okay, fine, we're third party publisher completely now. So sorry, it
Yeah.
didn't work out, guys, right? Microsoft as a corp is not going to change direction. But as much as I say that, everybody's allowed to have constructive criticism of a company that they spend money into. As a consumer, you have every right to say, even companies you don't spend money into, but you want to spend money with them, but they're doing things that you just go, this is not attracting me. You have a right to say something if it's constructive. I'm all for that. But this, like you said, man, the constant for me at this point, right? I've had my critiques of Xbox and what they're doing, stated my opinion, but just taking a big picture look at things, I'm sitting back and going, if this means that we continue to get Game Pass supported because the Microsoft execs and the shareholders are happy, and Game Pass, even though it doesn't hit the numbers internally that they probably were looking for, that we know they were looking for from the ABK deal, even though it's not hitting those marks, as long as the Xbox itself is now making more money because they're doing this Xbox Anywhere thing, and they're going to continue to invest in Game Pass, and I get to continue to benefit as a Game Pass subscriber. Again, the greatest value in gaming. And now, not to keep repeating myself, but this is an important point that people forget. Now they're trying to add more Play Anywhere stuff, whereas me as a PC and a console owner, now I have that license in both places for one price. And sometimes on Game Pass, I get games both places, right? And I only have to subscribe once to Game Pass Ultimate. Like, the more benefits that I get, if that keeps everybody at the top happy, that they are putting their stuff everywhere, if that means that Sarah Bond and her team can quadruple down on bringing hardware, even if it's enthusiast level hardware, next generation, even if it's a little bit more expensive than what we're used to, but they're going to continue to try to push the boundaries in the console space by doing something different now than everybody else. And again, this isn't the first time. Xbox has taken up the mantle that Sega had of pushing the industry forward and bringing new tech before even people thought it was necessary to the marketplace in the console gaming space. They have been trendsetters before. Sometimes they've been way too early and it hasn't benefited them. But if they hit this hybrid spot that we think they're going to do, plus handheld and maybe other hardware, if this all means that they're going to continue to invest in that side, of course I'm going to be for it, because that means I get to benefit as a gamer. So looking big picture, even if it's not what I would do, if this is Sarah Bond's initiative now, if she took over Xbox and said, listen, if this is what we're going to do, this is where we're going with this. If the money men in the room are telling us we have to do something different, otherwise, not look good, like the shareholders need to see, okay, if we're going to do this, then let's go full in. Again, I don't like toe dipping. So if this was Sarah Bond's initiative when she took over, when they put her in charge, along with obviously still Phil making core decisions because he is the CEO of Microsoft Gaming, along with Booty, who is the head of all the studios, etc. There's more than just Sarah Bond, but she is the face of Xbox. If this is her initiative and she said, you know what, fine, full speed ahead. Let's freaking do this. Let's figure out how we're going to make this the biggest and best kind of marketing idea that we've had. Let's make sure that people start getting the idea that you are going to see Xbox in more places than you've ever seen us before. Then fantastic. Then that's what I'm about. I don't like toe dippers. I don't like the Googles of the world who try things and then pull out, right? That pause, but I don't like that. They tried Stadia for about 2 seconds and said, oh God, it's too hot in here. Let's pull out. Mm-hmm. I don't want that shit. So if you're going to do this, then let's freaking do it. But let's keep giving us, those invested in the Xbox ecosystem, benefits. Now, not everybody's going to agree on those benefits. Not everybody's going to see exclusives going elsewhere as a benefit. But for the vast majority of us Xbox ecosystem gamers, we do see the benefits because, again, they're investing more than they ever have before in Game Pass. We are getting games out of the blue that we didn't even know were going to be in Game Pass, showing up in Game Pass now from third parties. We didn't know Square Enix was suddenly going to start agreeing to the Play Anywhere without a Game Pass deal so that you only have to buy one licensed game and you get both copies. Like, yes, please continue to do this. And if it's Sarah Bond and if this is her mark that she is making on Xbox as the head of Xbox now, then so be it. This is her mark. She is the quarterback. Yeah. Right?
I mean, to think about it from their publishers' perspectives, right?
Right.
Like, you mean to tell me I put my game in your Xbox Play Anywhere dual entitlement thing you're doing, and anybody that has a mobile phone now can buy and play my game? That's what they're going for.
Right.
This is what I was talking about that I just did last night with the start of their 50 games. This is why you're going to see more and more publishers do it. So we don't have to make a separate mobile version. The Xbox, this is an Xbox thing, is your phone. You're telling me that Xbox is no longer just 30 million plus 40, whatever it's at consoles. Now people can buy my game that I developed specifically for that hardware. Automatically, they can buy it on their phones and it's just going to work. Seems like an incentive to me, to be able to get more publishers to put their games on Xbox.
Yep.
And that's what you're seeing.
Right.
And they're starting with those 50. And if the Google thing ends up getting wrapped up soon, you're going to see the official app. You're going to see double and triple down on that aspect. Like a lot of people have been saying, this stuff's going to make a lot of more sense soon to a lot of people, right?
Right.
But if I just anybody that has any of those games that are in that 50 list, you got a backbone or you got a tablet with a controller, you got a decent internet connection, try it. Pull a Mav. Go like, all right, I'm gonna sit in my bed at night. I'm gonna put a tablet in front of me with a Xbox controller with Bluetooth or whatever, and I'm gonna go to the Edge browser and I'm going to go to Xbox Play, choose one of those games, and then that you own, and try it. And if it's not a great experience because for whatever reason, hey, that's cool, right? But man, what I played last night got me even more excited about this whole push of the game ownership and cloud and all that kind of stuff, bro. Because I know that we're only still at the dawn of this technology.
Right. Correct. Yeah, we're still
like stage. It is only going to get better. So hey, I'm all for that. And hey, PC, man, love it. Stalker 2, bro. I've split my time on console and PC and loving it.
Right. It's a benefit you don't get.
By the way, the update, I don't. The last update that they did or whatever, it's running even smoother on the Xbox than it was before.
Okay.
That's playing some on console today.
Okay.
Because I wasn't splitting my time on
really.
Yeah, I wasn't either, but like the frame rate wasn't as good on console as PC, obviously, right?
Yeah.
But it was smoother for me today playing on console than it was even at launch. So, yeah, they've been making some strides with that game already, dude. Like it is so, especially on PC.
I hope they can fix the shadows.
They didn't have any shadow dancing.
The shadows interior in the interior though, it's pixelated shadows. Like it looks.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that part it does catch me off guard when I walk into one of those. I'm like, Jesus.
Are you using FSR or anything
on
PC?
Console?
Are you?
Oh no, I'm talking about on console.
Okay.
I'm talking about on Xbox. Yeah, on Xbox. So
yeah.
Who got chat? We got Ferg Brizzle in here. What's going on, Ferg? Great to see you jumping in here. Siki says, "Yep, love Xbox Play Anywhere. Yeah, it's a great thing, man." Fuzzy says, "I'm allowed to criticize their criticism." Yes, you are. Absolutely, of course you are. Yeah. Please, Marty McFly's in here. Great to see you. Says tomorrow's the day. Choo choo, motherfuckers. Choo choo. Seeing a lot of people trying indie right now too, Mav, and saying it's great. So I can't wait. I know I saw some people saying, "Oh, it's a walking simulator," whatever. Okay, whatever. I'm not doing this stuff. We do have to get to Alvin sent us a $5 super chat. Mav said,
I read this when you were gone.
Did you? Cocaine Randy? Yeah. Oh, did you?
Okay. Yeah.
I thought it was great because you know how I love
it. You can read it again.
Yeah. Cocaine Randy ran a line and spilled the beans on the BL4 trailer. Randy L. Gabe. Excuse me.
Gabe.
Gabe. No, Randy likes to ski. There ain't no doubt about it. That man is a party at. I go party with Randy. Randy's funny as fuck, right? And then did you get the Razer NZ2 or no? Did that happen?
No, I have not yet.
Okay. Razer. Attention, ladies and gentlemen. Attention aboard the fun speculation hype train. That's right. We are trying to keep this ad free going into 2025 around here. Your goal for the remaining portion of 2024 is at an easy 11,800. So we're almost there. Christmas is coming up. Think about the presents that you could give. You could sub your friends and family to the Fun Speculation Network to keep us ad-free. Think about that, everybody. But the one and only Razor NZ. That's right. The NZ actually does stand for New Zealand. This man flew across the entire globe to be here tonight, and he dropped off a couple bags of coal, got us a couple new cars full of new speculators. That's right, Razor NC with the easy 10 bomb, the easy 10 dunk, the windmill. Thank you, Razor NZ. Choo choo, motherfuckers. Choo choo. And we are now cruising along in a nice, easy Mach 3 or 4.0. I'll give you extra credit tonight. Had a cough, man. Dry air in the winter.
4.0.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah, you got a bug fly into your throat because we're going so fast.
Yeah, we're going so fast.
Cause those flies to fly right into the back.
Dry air in the wintertime just sucks too for me. Anyways, thank you all. Appreciate that so much for being here. And thank you, Razor NZ, for all that. But it's never expected, but always appreciate you guys. It's amazing to see so many people in here tonight. So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
so, yeah.
10 memberships means choo choo.
Choo choo. Ha 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 ha.
There's a preview. That should have been just the trailer for the game, and that's it.
Know, right?
It's the launch trailer. Yeah.
Did that say Caitlin got a membership? Yes.
Yeah.
Caitlin got a membership. Let's go. Caitlin's in. Yeah, I know, Wilfrey. I am loaded. I made a post. I've got Path of Exile 2 now downloaded on PC and on the Xbox. So we're PC just went live about an hour ago with their pre-download. So I am ready to rock and roll, man. I just hope the servers can make it. Ma'am, did you see the other game we were kind of making fun of? We've seen it. It actually came out to good reviews this week too. We don't have to have a conversation, but I just thought it was funny. But Infinity Nikki.
Nikki.
Yeah, you remember the PlayStation 5 console exclusive? It's on PC too. It's so dress up one. Remember the girl? It's like an RPG, but it's a dress up one.
Oh yeah,
remember that?
Yeah. It's like Barbie Dreamland fantasy,
kind of
like RPG, yeah, dress up.
And we were like, "What the hell is this?" And it actually is. There's no battling in it. You can die, but you just basically wake up in your bed like normal. But there's no real combat, but you do walk around open world. You can you actually do like cure monsters from evilness, and then they turn out to be your friends. But you collect outfits. You do actually play dress up, but like it's sitting at an 81 on Open Critic right now. It actually came out to good reviews, and people were like, "No, this is actually cool." And I did not know, but that series was actually a mobile series for a long time. And now it's making the big league jump, and everybody's like, "Oh my God, this is the best Nikki game yet." I'm like, okay.
Oh, well, the best Nikki one yet.
But yeah, so a lot of people are enjoying it. So if you guys have been looking for a chill game to play dress up, Infinity Nikki is your game this year. Again, a game for everybody. 92% critics recommend.
Nice. Also, Fantasia Neo Dimension launched.
Yes, that also did come out. That's sitting at an 82 on Open Critic, and of course, that's
Sakaguchi's game.
Yeah, Sakaguchi's potentially final game. Potentially his final game. He had an interview this week too where he expressed gratitude and thankfulness and excitement that he was back on Xbox, that his game was going back on Xbox with Fantasia Neo Dimension, which was cool to hear. Again, Sakaguchi, the Final Fantasy granddaddy. Again, there was other people involved, but most people recognize him as the one. And Sakaguchi will always be one of my favorites. The dude had so much talent, and he did what he wanted to do. He went and made smaller type experiences, didn't want to work on the big stuff anymore, but my God, that man could have done some really amazing things, bro. He did already, but I'm just saying, the past 20 years, God, 15 years, God, man, he could have done some cool stuff. Lost Odyssey is just freaking unbelievable. Anyways,
so I was looking, just as you were talking about it, I was just looking at like game releases for kind of this week and stuff. I don't know if this maybe goes past a little bit this week, but we got Indiana Jones hit. They got good reviews. You got Fantasia Neo Dimensions. It got good reviews. You got Infinity Nikki got good reviews.
Yeah,
and Anton Blast
Yeah, that game.
cartoon-y.
I don't
Yeah.
play those platformer, but it's cartoon style, like
Yeah.
almost hand animated looking cartoon style. It looks freaking crazy because it's
Mhm.
really fast, Sonic fast on the screen. So it looks kind of Call of Duty.
Something called it looks like Tasmanian Devil, kind
Yeah,
of,
yeah, yeah.
but
That's a
yeah,
good
yeah.
shout out. Yep, yep.
Dungeons of Dreadrock came out. It's on Switch, I think. It got good reviews and something called 30 Birds. But yeah, anyway, like all of those games got really they're all in the 80s. So pretty solid for
That's crazy. Do we have the Thing remastered came out today as well, and people are
Oh yeah,
praising
yeah, yeah.
that became available, I believe, because I saw the Xbox Wire post. People praising that, saying it's captured the classic feel and brought it up to date. Again, they didn't, it's not a remake, it's a remaster, but they brought it forward. So if you're looking for the Thing, again, a big, I love the movie. Even though I'm not a horror fan, I can watch certain movies, but the Thing is classic, man. So that came out. Legacy of Kain Soul Reaver remake is our remasters are coming out 1 and 2. That comes out next week. So we still got more games coming out to end the year, Matt, which is again nuts.
Yeah.
So yeah, crazy.
Kind of
Well,
feels like January, like or February, like
January's getting stacked too, bro.
remember January for this year? Like
We had some
we
announcements today from January too.
we had January this year. We had like 3 big games drop early on. It kind of feels like it, this December is like last year's January in a way.
And right, and in a lot of ways it does. But that's what we were talking about, man. Like at this point in the industry, and this might slow down, but we were talking about these next,
Yeah.
2 to 3 years being
Any
absolutely loaded.
time. Yeah.
Anytime, it's not going to matter, and these companies have to put these games out. Think about this too, Matt. As far as Game Pass goes, right? We're already stacked, but January we're getting Sniper Elite.
Mhm.
Right? We get Sniper Elite. It just was announced today. Eternal Strands, that new
Yeah.
game from that new IP from Yellow Brick Games, which are former Ubisoft, I want to say, right? Ubisoft, they're former Ubisoft team members as well. Yellow Brick Games, I think that Ubisoft, pretty sure. Eternal Strands is coming out January 28th. That is also in Game Pass. So we are getting we're getting loaded up, and then we all know what February is, right?
Mhm.
So it's going to start off next year, and we got Towerborn somewhere in there. We know Towerborn's coming. It's not going to stop. Next year is going to be from opening bell. We are going to be loaded, especially on Game Pass and Xbox's side of things. Like you said, Mav, next year could be Xbox's biggest year. They could have multiple games up for Game of the Year, depending on how those releases go. I definitely could see Fable and you said Doom, Dark Ages, both. Avowed could surprise. Now, again, Avowed's got its own controversy going on,
Yeah.
which is unfortunately affecting things as well. But you never know; it could blow people away, and it could overcome everything that's going on there.
I hope by the time the game comes out, it's
Hopefully,
gonna be get
hopefully,
past
I
a
just
lot of that stuff.
I just wish people could
Yeah.
shut their mouths. I don't
Yeah,
know
no,
why it's
I
necessary.
agree.
It's just yeah,
Don't put a target on your back,
it's
obviously,
unnecessary.
right?
It's just
Yeah.
unnecessary bullshit. Like at the end of the day. Anyways, um, Mav, we got Tokyo Extreme Racer next year too. Now we know that,
Oh my
and
god, they're
my
making
God, the
those
new trailers.
actual yes! We're actually getting, like, little looks at the game, and it looks fucking like Tokyo Extreme Racer, bro.
I know, bro. I know.
Did you see the one today of the,
Yeah, I posted it. The Toyota.
oh, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
One of the bosses, I forget
Yeah,
the name of the boss, but, like, it's like, oh my
yeah,
god.
because I posted
Rolling guy, yeah.
Rolling Guy, the rival introduction video, and it looks like an up again. This is Genki. This is Tokyo Extreme. It's coming on PC only next
Yep.
year for the time being. So this isn't AAA, okay? This isn't Forza, okay? But for me and Bav and others that remember Tokyo Extreme Racer, we are getting an updated version of Tokyo Extreme Racer. But my God, the city night driving, it just looks so fucking good.
Customization. Yeah.
Yes.
You see the customization on the Supra?
Yes. Yes,
Yeah.
bro. Yes. I'm waiting for the Evo. I need the Evo announcement, and then
Mhm.
I'll be happy, really happy. But the drifting, Mav, looks like Tokyo Extreme Racing drifting, like crazy. Like, I'm so set, man. We're so set next year. Oh man. Go wishlist it, everybody. Please.
Yes, please. Tokyo Extreme Racer on Steam, wish
Yeah.
list it.
Because we needed to come to console as well. So the more
Yes.
people that get it on Steam, the better. Pretty sure that's about all I got, Mav.
Yeah, I think we kind of covered everything. I
think
mean,
we
the Game
kinda
Awards is coming next week, but like
Yeah.
we already touched on that.
Yep.
Next week's episode, we will be
Yes,
co-streaming the Game Awards, and we may have some guests as well. Who knows for sure who's going to be available for that? But should be fun, man. Announcements. So next week we'll obviously have some kind of probably be more discussions on that, and we'll have some feedback on what we've played from Indiana Jones and stuff like that. So, and looking forward to a fun week of gaming ahead.
I'll be talking about Indiana Jones and Path of Exile 2. You get a lot of Path of Exile 2 for me, for sure.
Yeah.
So,
I just don't want to get into the early access on it yet. Like,
yeah. No, I get it. I again, there's just so much content for that game in
Yeah.
early access. That's the reason why I'm committing to it now, is because there's so much content. Like, again, it's got more content. Their end game is bigger than Diablo 4's, which is sad to say.
Yeah.
But already, and it's not complete, right? So, but yeah, that's the only reason why I'm jumping in this early. I'm so addicted to looters and ARPGs. I just love the shit out of them, and I have to play this one. If you guys didn't see it too, Pearl Abyss, Crimson Desert new trailer. Crimson Desert is going to be a sleeper for Game of the Year next year, even with all the other games that we know are coming out. I believe Crimson Desert right now, from what I'm seeing, if it plays exactly how it looks, Mav, is going to be a sleeper Game of the Year contender next year. This game could turn action games, because they're not promoting it as an RPG. They are saying it is an action game. Now we'll see, skill wise, what that entails, if there's loot, etc. But right now they're showing off all the action. Pearl Abyss is going to change things next year with Crimson Desert. This is looking spectacular. They just did another boss fight today with speaking of Hexe, that's who they did it with, a witch from that world, and it just looked phenomenal, bro. So go check out that latest trailer. And the real quick too, this one slid underneath everybody's radar. Wolfeye Studios. Now these are former Arcane devs. Okay, this is former Arcane Austin devs. Prior to Arcane Austin being shut down, a group of Arcane devs left, right? And some of the big talent left, and they formed Wolfeye Studios. Wolfeye Studios created Weird West, which is an excellent game that not a lot of people played, but if you ever get the chance, it's freaking dope. Top down, action, wild west, but with tons of supernatural shit in it. Game is dope. Okay. And they had a great critical reception for that. They came out this week because they're making a new game, and they are going back to their Arcane roots. They are making a first-person action RPG in a retro sci-fi setting, and they came out this week in an interview and said, "Will be liked by people who love Dishonored and Prey. They are going to feel very at home." Keep your eye on Wolfeye Studios. Something special coming out of there, man. I can't wait. I get excited for this shit because, again, we don't have Arcane anymore. Chances are we're probably not going to give Dishonored or Prey anytime soon. So if former Arcane devs, when they were in their prime, are coming along and going to fill in a space with something cool, I'm all for it, man. Immersive Sims, we need more of them. So Wolfeye Studio, keep an eye on that. We'll probably get more information next year by the sounds of it. So I want to throw that one in there. Otherwise, Compulsion had. What'd you think about the new gameplay clip? Anything you saw at South of Midnight, Mav? I don't know if you saw that, but they released a small.
Yeah, just more combat.
Right.
Look good.
I think the story is going to carry that game. Again, I don't have any problems with the traversal. Looks decent because you got lots of different options to do traversal. Combat just looks like okay. as long as it's tight, it's going to be okay combat. It's not anything that we haven't seen before or anything out, at least what we know right now. And from what I've seen, I think the story is going to carry that game. I think that's really what's going to do it for people is that story behind it. And again, the mythology and the lore that they're bringing into play with the cool ass creatures and the art style is going to sell that. And I think that that's where they're going to show their strength. So looking forward to Compulsion's next game. I would like to see them do more of, We Happy Few. But since they went this direction, I'm all for it. I've always been a big believer in Compulsion, so I can't wait to see what they do. So I thought it looked good though.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely, man. I think
Starborn. Yeah.
overall it's going to be one of those that's right now looks really promising, but like we'll just never know until that game actually launches,
Yeah.
right?
Right.
Just because Compulsion's been like this is like the biggest thing they've ever done, right?
Yes.
So it's one of those games that's like looks amazing, but will it actually be amazing?
Yeah.
Combat for me, like action games like that, I like it more simplistic and stuff anyway, right? So, um, as far as that goes, it just looked, hey, look solid, cool,
Right. I mean, again, it just looks like
yeah,
okay. It's good. I mean,
right,
that's what it looks like to me. So as long as it's tight, that's all that really matters in that
yep.
type of gameplay. Um, Yeah. Last thing I got is Starborn. For anybody who doesn't know, that is officially a trademark now of ZeniMax. It is an unknown game, or potentially expansion, maybe, but more likely this has been something that's been floating around for a while. But um, Odafield, shout out to Odafield on X, knows people at ZeniMax and has done pretty well, coming up with things in the past about what's going on at ZeniMax and Bethesda specifically. Said reminder: the Starborn trademark has been made public. A first teaser at the Game Awards might be possible now. Fuzzy and I were kind of along the same wavelength today. We've talked about the ZeniMax Online's game has to be announced. They have two in the works. One has been in the works for nearly 6 years at this point. Like it's ready. Like they've been super excited about it. Could it be, Mav? Could it be that Starborn, obviously, shocker, Starfield, right? Okay, come on. Could Starborn be ZeniMax's online MMO version of Starfield? They have an MMO version of ESO, right? We've got the MMO version of Fallout 76. So, Starfield being the next big franchise, whether people like to believe that or not, it's in the trifecta now. It is a part of their studios. Could we see Starborn as the next big like MMO Starfield, or do you think it's going to be something completely different, including one of those maybe licensed IPs? What do you think, Mav? Or completely
I
different altogether? What do you think?
I
Any
think
any
it's
thoughts?
I think it's the name of their second expansion.
Okay, fair enough. That's a good.
Yeah,
That's a good call too. Psycho, shout out to Psycho. He put that in
yeah.
the DMs too. Yeah.
Like like I don't want to say for sure, but I could have swore I've heard people refer to the second expansion as Starborn.
Okay.
Via some kind of video or some article I read, it was like, did they let that slip or something?
Okay.
Um, and because I've heard that name referred to as for like content for Starfield before, but I don't, and I know it's the main character, but I don't remember if it came from Bethesda themselves or where I heard it from. Uh, but yeah, I'm pretty sure that that's next year's expansion for Starfield. Not 100%. It would be awesome if it's the multiplayer thing, but
Yeah.
that's just what I think right now.
Yeah, it's
And it
probably
could
gonna
already
be.
be out there that it is. So because I could swear I've heard that, but I don't know for sure.
Okay. But yeah, if we got anything like that at the Game Awards, that'd be cool. I think it's a little early to announce the next expansion. I would think that would come
Yeah.
next year as well,
Oh,
but who knows?
yeah, this was from July 29th of this year.
Okay.
Starfield's 2025 expansion may be called Starborn.
Okay. I wonder if people were taking that name because that name's been out there for a while. Maybe again, it does make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm not stupid, right?
Um,
It could be certainly be that.
yeah, I'm trying to see where he got this from. Okay, so yeah, I guess this was Jez doing his Jez thing,
Mm,
right?
mm-hmm.
For way back in July, right? Registered by Bethesda parent company Microsoft subsidiary ZeniMax, the above trademark describes its use for computer software dubbed Starborn. fits the Starfield motif pretty well and also refers to some in-game plot points and mechanics that I won't spoil here for those that haven't played it yet. Indeed, if you haven't played the game yet, you can go grab it. Oh, okay, anyway. So, for those who have finished, you'll know Starborn, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, he's just speculating at this point. Just commenting on the registered name. So it said it could also be a full-blown story expansion, um, or something else, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, anyway, I think I kind of would lean towards because we know that there was another expansion planned for this year or for next year
Right.
originally because it was in that leak of the timelines, right? For everything because originally on the things that came out the FTC was it the FTC leak or was it a different leak? But they had the list of the ZeniMax Bethesda titles when that Microsoft had when they were in consideration of acquiring ZeniMax Bethesda,
Right. Yep.
right? And then obviously there was a timeline delay of everything because of COVID. So everything had got pushed back, but the list of everything was still spot on, including what I think in that was it was called Doom something year 1 or something
Mhm.
or year
Year one.
0
Year
or
zero. Year zero.
yeah,
Yep, you're right. Yep.
but it's like it's Doom Dark Ages, but still in release cadence, it's still right there where it's supposed to be, right? So everything according to that cadence has turned out to be accurate so far. Um, but there was the order of events was Starfield Expansion 1, Starfield Expansion 2 in consecutive years, and then the year after that was Elder Scrolls 6.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see if that actually pans out. And I think Elder Scrolls 6 gets more time,
Yeah.
probably. But I think the expansion would be. It makes sense to have consecutive year expansions.
Oh yeah, of course. And they're going to continue again.
Yep.
Whether people like it or
Yeah,
not.
they're doing a lot of
Starfield
updates and stuff.
Starfield is one of their babies now. So, whether you think it's a failure or not doesn't matter. So Bethesda's going to continue to push it forward. So, but yeah, I can't wait to see the next review.
But if that was the name of the game, Starborn is a pretty badass name of the game too.
Okay, before we get out of here, Mav, real quick, Path of Exile just put out a post with Jonathan, of course, the director and one of the founders of GGG. Awesome dude. If you haven't watched any of his interviews, if you want to hear a passionate gamer talk about himself and his team actually making a game together, like this is the guy. Like he's just a great interview, down to earth, and nothing is scripted with him. It's all off the cuff with him. And he freely admits when he doesn't know something, an answer. Like you just don't get that out of this industry much out of the big boys anymore. They just put out a post, Mav, Path of Exile. And this is Jonathan talking. And so I'm just going to read it. We've just reached 1 million early access redemptions. Pro. They did not think. The support you have all shown for Path of Exile 2 early access is far beyond anything we could have ever predicted. However, we want to be upfront with you all and let you know there may very well be queues over the weekend. This is the other thing they do very well. They are extremely transparent. They come out and tell everybody, hey, like no bullshit, like we might have problems. And he's been saying this for a while. They had server capacity ramped up to 1 million. He said, we've already talked to our companies and we can get more. He goes, but obviously we can only test so much. We can only run so many bots. We don't know what it's going to be like. So just be ready. But now that 1 million people have purchased early access, they had no idea it was going to blow up this big. No idea. Crazy numbers.
Insane, bro.
Yeah. So wild stuff. God, I hope I can get in this weekend. I just want to play for a little bit. Oh shit, man. Yeah, we need that Oblivion remaster. Ray, me and Matt both agree. 1000%, bro. Give me Oblivion all day, every day. It would be a brand new game. They would sell millions.
I was laughing at Poison Maniac was putting the links he put next to Kate's name thumbnail artist.
Thumbnail artist, I like that.
She does way more than that. But yeah, that's funny.
Danny Passion says, I've never played Diablo game or similar, and I'm super hyped for Path of Exile. Well, you are tackling one of the biggest and baddest right out the gate. Love it, Danny. So it's gonna be a fun ride, man.
Nice.
Yeah. All right, everybody. It's been a fantastic episode. Thanks for putting up with me and Mav's nonsense. We both slid in here late tonight, but I appreciate you all coming on by and seeing us, whether you checked us out for 5 minutes or for the full time. We appreciate every single one of you. It's all love and respect because, again, without all of you being here, it's just me and Mav bullshitting playing a game together, which would be dope. We've done that plenty of times, but it's much better to have a whole group of people in here who like to talk about this stuff as much as we do and just listen to us and contribute to the show. So again, thank you all for being here. Much, much appreciated. Next week is going to be a blast. Even though I'm not looking forward to the awards anymore, I know there's going to be big announcements and it's going to be like Christmas. It's a mini Christmas next week with the Game Awards. Yeah. So come on by and join us for that as well. But otherwise, oh, hey, Fuzzy Tomato, 6 months to a year. So Jonathan said 6 months minimum, year maximum for the early access. So just so you know,
it'll be 2 years.
No, they're gonna get it out. They know. Anyways, so Mav, we got Xbox Ultimate tomorrow night. Anything else coming up? You can do some more streaming this weekend. What you got planned, brother? Man. And thank you for being here, and thanks for always being one of the best co-hosts and the owner of the Fun Speculation Network.
Thanks for being a good captain. Captain of PM in the PM.
I just showed
amazing, bro. Oh yeah, what else we got going on, Pong? Well, maybe this weekend gonna get to stream some indie. We'll see. I want to, so we're gonna maybe be able to do that, or some other games. We'll see what happens. But tomorrow night, Xbox Ultimate Podcast, 9 p.m. Eastern time. And on from there, we didn't have FSP this week. Honestly, I was just too fucking tired. I just couldn't do it. But Monday we should be back for FSP at 9 p.m. Eastern time, and then we'll be back here for the Game Awards co-stream. Yay! On Thursday, and we'll get to see what Keely's shoes are wearing. We'll see if any of the leaked lists that popped up on the Game Awards ends up turning out to be true. Did you see the leak list, Pong?
Yes, I saw your leak list. I retweeted it. Yeah. Yes, I always have to. Yeah. You're so accurate. It's amazing, bro. Like I was like, yeah.
100%
SpaghettiOs is just my favorite automatically. So as long as it's with meatballs and not those bullshit hot dogs that they used to have, which weren't hot dogs anyways. But yeah,
no, it's meatballs, bro.
Yeah,
classic,
meatballs, bro. Yeah, classic.
Yeah, we'll see if any of those come to fruition at the Game Awards next Thursday. But what about you, Pong Soul?
So this weekend is going to be a little bit different. But anyways, first of all, again, you guys know how to find me, Pong Soul on X, formerly known as Twitter. Pong Soul on Xbox, on Steam, on GOG, on Epic. Find me. I'll follow you back. Tomorrow night, obviously, I will try to be making Xbox Ultimate. If I'm locked into PoE2, you might see me playing for the rare stream where I'm actually playing some PoE2 if I get into the servers. But otherwise, I am going to try to make it. Like I said, I'm planning on getting out of work early tomorrow, getting stuff done, and then getting home and trying to play some PoE2. So I should be good to go unless something dramatic happens tomorrow night. For Xbox Ultimate, so join us here, 9 p.m. Eastern, 8 o'clock Central Time tomorrow night. Saturday. So just Steele and I let everybody know in advance, but I'll remind everybody, no living split screen this Saturday. My dad's in town and we're having early Christmas. We do this every year. Normally it's the second week of December. This year he's doing the first weekend. So I will be at early Christmas with my dad, who's in town from Florida. So enjoy your day off. Plenty of other shows will be going on. Obviously, you guys know all the cool shows that happen on Saturday, thanks to Sith Lord and everybody else who promotes them. So, but no living split screen on Saturday. And then Saturday night is the Shop podcast. And I do believe I will be back in time for the Shop. I let PTK know. I think I'm going to be back in time. If not, I'll be just coming in really hot, but I'm going to try to make the Shop podcast Saturday night. PTK Blam's channel, PTK Blam, Fuzzy Belvedere, myself, and he usually has a guest or two. So be there for that. The best way to end your Saturday night, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central Time, the Shop podcast. And then, of course, next week it starts all over again. Double Barrel Gaming is the channel. Boomsticks the Man 5 days a week, but Xbox Factor podcast every Tuesday for all good things green, 12 p.m. Eastern, 11 o'clock Central Time every Tuesday. Be there for that show. But then like Mav said, we're going to have a special one next Thursday. The Game Awards, a little early Christmas. Let's go. You guys be here for that. We will be live. We'll probably have some of the family here. And I'm definitely going to be trying to get out of work. I will definitely get out of work early that day. So I'm here for the opening. So join us next week, would you? Otherwise, everybody, it is truly the golden age of gaming. I'll argue with anybody on this. It is the golden age of gaming. This is absolutely freaking insane that we're getting this stuff right. Again, what a time to be alive. What a time to be a gamer. Please get out there and enjoy some of it wherever you're playing, whatever you're playing. Play what you love. Love what you play. And I'll talk to you all real soon. Thanks for coming out, everybody. Mav, get us out of here.
Bye. Have a good one. Peace. Dun, 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 dun.
Choo-choo, motherfuckers. Choo-choo.